And welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, everyone. My name is Melanie Dean, and today I'm going to be in the host's seat, helping drive the TARDIS as we review Wild Blue Yonder. Now, you know I can't do this by myself, so I have 5 of the most incredible people here with me to talk about the episode. So let's bring everybody in, or should we do it one by one? I don't know. Maybe we should start with Dave Chapman since he's kind of running the buttons.
Hello, everybody. Super stoked to talk a little bit more about Wild Blue Yonder. I had we did a live watch party on this Saturday morning, which was a lot of fun. We're gonna do that again for the giggle, just so you know. Come join us on the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. We don't talk on camera during it, but we can talk all in the comment section, hype each other up, talk about what we see, and then hang out afterwards and chit chat.
It's kind of like a big old group watch. So if you remember the old, oh my lord, if you remember the old days of Rabbit on online, and I mean you can still do that even on Discord and have group watches. So it's you can't really watch it, but at least you can watch it on your Disney Plus subscription, and everyone can kind of join in and chit chat in the comments. Now, I believe one of our at least one person was on that group watch. It wasn't me, and that would be Kevo at Kevo Really from X's for Show.
Hello there.
Hello there, Kevo. How are you?
Doing good. Really excited for what we've been getting so far. Getting festive, getting funky. I moved into the new TARDIS with my friends. I've got a light strand going because it's still technically Christmas time. So yes, very exciting.
So down here in Florida, people are going crazy with their Christmas lights and holiday lights. Is it the same up in your neck of the woods?
Some, it's that thing where it's not snowing anymore at this time of year, so people aren't quite as gung-ho about putting stuff up. We have one house around the corner that does it up really crazy. We're talking like Osborne spectacle of lights on one corner. So I'm excited to see their setup when it gets there. It was paltry for Halloween, so they'd better really do it up for Christmas.
Okay, well, fingers crossed. Speaking of someone who has a very festive personality, and now everyone in the background is going, who is Melanie talking about? I'm talking about our personal psych ANRP specific person, Nisha T. Mulchin, the most boostery person you will ever meet. Hey, Nisha.
Yes.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that intro. Okay.
You are the person I'm always psyched to see when I go to San Diego Comic-Con, whenever we can meet up. You are you bring so much great energy, and I can't wait to help you bring that energy to the show today.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
It's so funny. The only time Melanie and I really get to see each other, bearing in mind we both live in Florida, is when we go to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. That's a little bit.
I love it. That's ridiculous.
That's the best way to do things. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on today. I am so happy to be able to rejoin these watch parties and these discussions. It's been forever. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
I'm so happy. So that leaves 2 more people around the TARDIS seat for us this evening. And first is going to be another regular to the show, and that's our resident author, Mackenzie Floor. Hey, Mackenzie. Right. Ah!
Did we lose her?
It's got a fault.
No, it got a short. No, her sonic's not working. So how are you?
I'm good. I just came back from a concert last weekend with Glassland that performed in Columbus. Well, Cincinnati, I should say, but they're from Columbus, Ohio. So yay. Got to meet one of my favorite people there too. So that was fun.
So are you still kind of running around doing also the con circuit? Are you just a busy bee?
I'm still busy bee though right now. I would say travel season's done till don't know if I'm going to do anything in January. That's still kind of up in the air, but it looks like probably March will be my next time that I'll be going in travel season again. But we'll see. Who's to say?
Awesome. So rounding out our little group session here to talk about Wild Blue Yonder, and that all the way from across the pond is Jessamine. Hello, my lovely. How are you?
Hello, I am well, thank you. How are you?
Doing good. How are you ready to have? Well, this is the first time we've actually been on the show together, so this is really exciting.
Yes.
So that's actually that's really because every time I've ended up having with my schedule haven't been on, you've been on, so I've been able to like watch you from afar and go, oh, she's so cool. I can't wait to chit chat with her. So you excited
thank you.
about today?
Yeah, it's been it feels like it's been a little while since I've been on here. I've literally just come back from Chicago TARDIS as well, so all proper Doctor Who out. Yeah.
Okay, so Dave, you would like to, if you could bring everybody up so we could see who's piloting the TARDIS here. We're going to be talking about Wild Blue Yonder. So if you're new to the show, we are typically here on YouTube, Facebook, that kind of stuff. So you get to see all of our lovely faces chit-chatting. Comment, make comments, questions, all that kind of stuff. Dave today is in the chair to pull up all of your comments below. As we can try to get to them, we will absolutely will. So we try to be very engaging to our audience, so you can chat as well. We're going to go with our regular kind of review formula when we do our shows. Each one of us is going to go around. We're going to rank this episode in our heart of hearts. 1 TARDIS for being not my favorite. 10 being, oh my God, this is the one I'm going to have to go ahead and tell everybody they got to see this. So, and then once we rate them, we're going to start lowest to highest and say why we liked what we liked. So I'm just going to go clockwise and just start with Dave. What number TARDISes are you? What's your ranking of this for Wild Blue Yonder?
9.
9. Ooh, ooh.
9.
Ooh, we starting out high.
People who watch regularly when we do this, I don't usually go that high.
Mm-hmm. No.
It takes a lot.
No, not at all. So Nisha, how about you? What are you giving this?
I am actually giving it a 7.5.
7.5.
Can you imagine I'm lower than Dave? That never happens.
Never.
Never.
Max. So, Kevo, you're next on the little clock.
I'm not going to go halves. I'm going to give it a 7. It's an enthusiastic 7, but it's a solid one.
Okay. Jessamine, you're up. What number?
Oh, probably an 8. 8 comes to mind. I'll give it 8 TARDISes.
Okay. And I'm writing that down so I keep track. And now, Mackenzie.
Well, you and I usually match or are very close to it. So I feel though I'm going to be a little bit lower than you. Just that's my gut feeling. But I give it a very strong 8.
Okay, 8. And you know what? You are very close because I was going to give it a 9. It was that I was kind of wanting to give it a 10, but 9 is where I'm kind of going too. So I'm going to write in here real quick so I can actually keep track since I'm not good at remembering. I have the memory of a turnip lovingly. But the lowest one is Kevo with 7. So Kevo, you're first up. What did you like? What didn't you like? Tell us your review of Wild Blue Yonder.
Well, in general, I am so far giving this trio of specials kind of like a solid B+. There's a lot of really fun stuff in here. I'm also really being strongly reminded of the faults of Russell T Davies as well. Things about the resolution of both of these 2 episodes have felt kind of not my favorite, but that also is sometimes just Doctor Who, and that's something that I myself already came to terms with a long time ago when it came to things like Silencio. Almost quit the show, but I made it through, and you know what? It's not that bad in retrospect, and I feel like I will probably feel a lot differently about a lot of these specials once I've digested them a little bit more. Obviously all the controversial stuff that's going on is making it, difficult to enjoy it too much. I think it's really funny, all the headlines that are saying the Doctor's gay now. He didn't say that. I also think it's funny how many people are saying they made Isaac Newton black. He's not black. The actor's not black, so that's even funnier. It is what it is. It's hard to tell if Russell is doing these things because it's what he wants to do or if he's doing it to poke people. But even if he's doing it to poke people, people poke him. People poke each other. People didn't have a problem with politics in the show when it was 12's Zygon speech. So it's really, I guess, just a matter of preference. I I think some of the stuff that's being done is a little hammy, but I'm not kicking rocks over it. It is what it is. I'm just trying to enjoy it for what it is, and look forward to what's coming next.
When you tend to, usually one question I'm trying to formulate, I can't even talk right now. So when do you have a tendency like me, or no, which is fair? Like if you rewatch an episode, do you have a tendency of changing your ranking? Like you'll go back and then go, okay,
All the time.
I like it better. Or
All
do you
the
have a tendency
time.
of going up higher or lower, or it just tends to change?
It tends to change. I imagine I'll probably go up higher with this one over time. I think there were a lot of expectations for these specials, and this one being so mysterious, my expectations were huge. And it was
Mhm.
really good. But it was kind of essentially, what if Midnight had Donna in it? Which I get. I'm sure that's something Russell has heard over the last 15 years. I think a lot of these specials, yeah, I think a lot of these specials are meant to be an amuse-bouche of revisiting a lot of the great stuff that people love from his classic, while also introducing a lot of concepts he's probably going to be doing with Shooty. That's why he is putting David Tennant on the face of the Doctor saying something gay, rather than putting all that pressure on Shooty. Because, like Donna said, it's always been under the surface. It's just Russell's decided it's above the surface now. We're just doing these things. And
Mhm.
that's fine. And I think he's making some huge swings. I think the giant monsters look kind of silly, but that's a huge swing. So many things from classic look silly now. And now people are going to see that and be like, that looks silly. How can I make it look better? That's how we advance storytelling. So the fact that he is really going for it is really cool.
Well, to your point, for me, it's like the big monsters. Well, also, if you haven't noticed in the bottom, there are going to be spoilers. So if you haven't seen the show, or spoilers don't really matter to you, then keep carrying on. But if you haven't seen the show and you're like, I don't like spoilers, don't just pause, go watch the show, come back, and then you can hear us. But to Kevo, your point with the monsters, them being really big, it was weird because I get secondhand embarrassment sometimes, and if I don't think something looks really silly, I'll just kind of not look at it. But I started getting that, and when I'm watching, I'm like, but they look good. This is weird. They looked good. They were silly, but man, you could really see that the budget is happening in here. So while you were speaking, I noticed Nisha was like, you guys were just on point here, and since she happens to have a very similar rating as you, Nisha, you're up next.
Heck yeah.
Me and Kevo like this.
Yep. So
we did a mind meld.
Love it. I know what that is now.
You know what that is now. That's why I can say it. It's not just me and Mackenzie. Listen. I actually 100% agree exactly with what you're saying. I want to actually give it a much higher number, but technically what I was doing was I was hyper vigilantly analyzing it, because I'm not sure if you realize it, but there's just first of all, yes, there's a ton of classic 10 and other from 10 forward, like little Easter eggs and little flashbacks, and I love them. I was like the Vampires of Venice teeth.
Yeah.
I could see. And then I was like, Midnight. I was telling Joe that it was a mixture of Midnight and Vampires of Venice. And I was like, oh my God, look at that. You and I thought the same. And I was okay with that because they're both very refreshing. They're both fun, funny, innovative, but silly at the same time. But let me say, Midnight is like, holy heck, one of the scariest episodes ever, right? So I actually, Joe T and I were talking, and she was like, hey, why do they have to put so much intrigue into this episode? Why do they have to make it scary? I said, because we haven't had that for a long time. And Don't Blink, and all of these episodes are the favorites for a reason, right? Because people really get drawn in to that intrigue. This had a ton of intrigue. And didn't that ship remind you so much of the one that the Doctor, that the 12th Doctor was on? I am so sorry, guys. This cough.
Okay.
And when, oh my God, my brain just went frozen for a second. It reminded me so much of the one that the 12th Doctor was on with the whole evolution of the Cybermen. So
yes, same. Yep, 100%.
Totally. Even the length, the size, everything about it because it was so damn big. So sorry for my language. It was so big. So I was like, okay, they've like literally put in pieces from all the doctors. Like I love that part of it. I was just hyper analyzing because there's a lot of psych in here. There's a ton of neuropsych in here. Yes, Heaven Sent. You got it.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Mike. You read my see exactly.
Yes.
Heaven Sent. Mhm. And I was thinking what Joe and I toggled on was there was a lot of depth to them talking to themselves, to carbon copies, wannabes of themselves. And what was it that what created or made it possible for them to know what was the fake, who was the fake doctor and who was the fake Donna? There's very specific things internally about their relationship with themselves more than with each other that actually made it possible for them to know which one was the fake one, because of that evolution of learning and imprinting on someone. The concept of imprinting is traumatic. We won't talk about it a lot right now, but it's a high level. It can be very trauma inducing. So I just wanted to make sure and talk about that a little. Of course, it was a fun episode and I loved it, but I was like, dang, I wish they would have just a teeny bit more, and I would have been like an 8 and a bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more, but that's me because I think like that. So
No, I love that you brought up because I noticed that there was that horror moment. I really did see that they keyed into the horror, but it wasn't until Kevo had mentioned midnight, and then with you with a Heaven Sent or Hellbent or both of them, the knowing, oh, he's actually really doing a lot of callbacks, and there was a couple which we can get into when it's my turn to review of they called back something else, which I was like, yay! They're not retconning it. They're keeping they're keeping it going, which we'll get into later unless someone else brings it up. So we have two people. I'm going to do something crazy here. We have two. Oh wait, no, you have a comment. Andrew Morris says, I love this episode. The scenes when they are all talking are brilliant, but the extra large monsters stopped feeling dread, and I felt like a Roald Dahl story. Okay, again, that was the silly, but kind of done well, but still silly again. Arms too long.
Yeah.
I wish it stayed more into the scary midnight feel.
Yeah.
I do wonder if that was a little bit of, remember, this is a kid's show. So maybe that was his way of going, all right, a lot of kids and children are kind of coming back into Doctor Who. A lot of people just coming back into Doctor Who now because it's Tennant again and it was mysterious and all that kind of stuff. So maybe that was his way to kind of have that balance, because I wasn't watching the show when midnight aired, and I don't know if there was ever any type of bad feedback of people saying, oh, this was maybe too horror-y and it scared children, and just me kind of just wondering if that ever, was part of Russell T's thinking of, what, I got to have balance here. So maybe, I don't know. If anybody in the chat happens to know or anyone here knows, correct me. I'm all ears. Mark says, Millennium FX have done a good job on the visual effects, both CGI and practical effects. I agree. The arms were prosthetics after the 360. I didn't, because at one point I know Donna had moved her arm, and it did look like that Catherine Tate was moving her arm, so that there was actually something there.
With David Tennant dragging them behind him.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, because it was like these huge.
Yeah.
They had some gravity to them.
Yeah. And that scene was just so intriguing, because it's like, what are you talking about arms? Why do you keep talking about my arms too long? Okay, that's just a really odd non sequitur. Or dude, that's creepy. Okay, what the heck? Run. Anywho, we've got two more people that need to give their review, and they both gave 8s. So, Jessamine and Mackenzie, do you want to rock, paper, scissors for it? Dave, put them both up on the screen and make them rock, paper, scissors for it.
Everyone else has to go away for me to do that, so we're going to take that out.
I'm not very good at this game.
You're next to each other. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Ready? Who's counting? Where are we going? Rock, paper, scissors, go.
Oh, I messed that up.
Yeah. Right again. Rock, paper, scissors,
go.
go. We'll be here all night doing this.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first? I'll let you go first. Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, we can just because I think well, Melanie can play off of me because I was going the same where she was probably going, so she can play off of me. So it will work really well there. So yeah.
Okay, so Mackenzie,
I
you
also
gave it an
like.
8.
I liked it also because of those tiebacks to like Midnight and of course to Heaven Sent because Capaldi is my current favorite Doctor of the current era. So I really liked both of those things. That's actually also why I gave it towards the 8 because of it having it didn't feel quite, it was unique, but I wanted more. Plus, I honestly didn't like the part in front with the Isaac Newton part. I thought that could have been probably better suited in the Children of Need, and maybe like remember the Scarrow could have been there instead, possibly. I don't know. It just didn't feel like it felt there. Like it felt like Isaac Newton needed to have his own episode. It just didn't feel like it was the same episode to me, even knowing that there was still that little tiny line towards after the intro. And just for me, I didn't like that. It just kind of felt disconnected. So
That was on that.
Yeah, so that was what it is for me, was that it felt like it was part of the same episode. But the rest of it, I really loved, especially how they tied in Flux, because it changed my perspective on how I looked at Scarrow originally and the Davros when he's no longer in a wheelchair. And I had a lot of problems with that. And I still not 100% with it, but it made me think, okay, the Flux destroyed like half the universe or something like that. What if the Flux caused Davros? His timeline has now been altered. He's no longer in a wheelchair. What if Isaac Newton, like historically he was white, maybe he's no longer white in this universe. So I thought, what else could be missing? Okay, so we know Meet the Beep showed up. We know that the probably the boss is who we're going to meet in the next episode. So I kind of felt like all this that's going on is the Flux's fault. And it was really nice, especially same with like Midnight, where you got to see the character development, knowing that 10 and 14 have a similarity where they're driven by guilt. And 14 is guilt struck because he was unable to save everybody from the Flux, whereas 10 had carrying the guilt of not being able to save all his people from the Time War. So it's like they have a little bit of that correlation I feel like a lot of that was pulling into a character development that was just great. And especially when we only got 14 for 3 episodes. So we kind of needed to know that right off the bat, even if it had to be maybe even exposition, but I love the way it was done. So that's why I gave it 8.5.
Sorry, I was muted. No, and I know I'm terrible. Because I had a screaming cat in here a minute ago.
Cat alert.
We have a thing for that. We have a thing for that. Where is it? There it is.
Yeah. So
You
she
can
was
get
here, but then got her
background cat alert.
Okay. I am happy that they brought up the Flux. I am ecstatic, to Mackenzie's point, that they brought up, like when the alien kind of Donna was bringing up the Flux, and they did it the one time with like you said, the grief the doctors the grief the 14th Doctor still has over losing all those people, and that Russell T's not retconning what happened beforehand. We're still getting the same canon of everything that was on screen. It still rides people, and some of it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, all of it was. But sorry. But I mean, yes, like that. I mean, it's I loved that he brought it up, and that he brought it up again on how much it weighs on the Doctor, that the Doctor started kind of like nudging Donna to say, hey, other Donna said all my memories, and I don't know whether or not real Donna because this is her best friend in the whole wide world that she just now got back, that she's keeping that under wraps because she knows if she brings it up, I already know all the absolute terrible pain and suffering that you've gone through, but I'm just going to bring it up flippantly. Or we don't have enough time to unpack all that. Even as a friend, you don't want to bring up past trauma and all that. That's no. So I liked how she didn't, and she just kind of said, "Oh no, it's like 15 years of all that stuff was crammed in my head. It was just a blip." So I'm
But you see,
really
that's what I was talking on about the trauma. Now you literally said the same thing. It's really a rip of trauma, and it's a rip of imprinted trauma. You have 15 years of her lost, but in one moment, she and Rose got smacked with 15 years of the doctor's trauma. That's massive. It wasn't just his memories, it's everybody else's memories too, right? So it's a massive amount of layers and layers and layers. And I was like, I wonder if they're going to actually toggle or talk about this later, because for me, that's a huge point, and I really don't want them to skip over it. So I'm hoping. That's all. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're not interrupting. You're part of the conversation. And honestly, it's balanced. To Mackenzie's point earlier, was it's balanced to that character and the character's development, and the fact that we've got a character that's now 15 generations in. If we make sure we add the War Doctor in there, that's a lot of lifetimes and a lot of, to your point, Nisha, trauma. But there's also a lot of joy, and there's a lot of hope, and there's a lot of sorrow, and there's a lot of pain, and there's just all this amazing, all this stuff that you're going to encapsulate in a right now hour-long TV show. So you do the best you can, I guess. So making sure we're staying on track, Jessamine, it is your turn. Why did you give this an 8? And give us your review.
Oh, well, first thing that's coming to mind while everyone was talking was everyone was talking about the flux and how, maybe not childish, but how, I don't know how to word it, not quite, everyone wanted it to be like midnight and proper scary. But I'm wondering whether this, if I'm allowed to talk about this bit, has got anything to do with the toy maker in the final episode, whether it's all linked together.
Yeah.
You see, because it feels like if it was too scary, too like midnight, that wouldn't be the toy maker. He'll have to make it maybe a bit cartoonish, like the extra long arms, things like that. I'm wondering whether maybe not the flux, maybe it was the toy maker, and because Russell's a genius, will somehow, I don't have the words to describe it, somehow use a toy maker and use at least the last 2 episodes, whether it's all his doing. So when Donna spoke about the trauma and all that, well, the doppelganger Donna, I'm wondering whether that's actually the toy maker knowing that and voicing it through her. That makes any sense? Because it's interesting, because Donna, I mean, it's all about opinion. So Donna could have just been like, I don't want to unpack all this trauma, I'm not going to say anything. Or whether she doesn't actually know, and whether it's just the toy maker channeling his thoughts, his voice through Donna, through that doppelganger Donna. Because it's
right.
I'm wondering whether it's all his sort of creation. That makes any sense? Because I think it's a bit weird to have 3 random, in a sense, like random episodes.
Right.
I think there's got to be a link somewhere between the 3.
You feel that there's a lot more of an arc going on here that's underlying it. We just haven't picked up on it yet. Yeah. And it's not just one cliffhanger leading to the other.
Yeah, I'm thinking whether that's the toy maker. And I think this is where Russell's clever. I don't think it's just these 3. I think it could go a bit further back into Jodie's era. It could, 12th Doctors, Peters, Matt, it's Russell. He's very, very clever with that, and I wouldn't put it past him. Yeah. So I'm wondering whether there's like a bigger picture that Donna keeps missing, and it's all sort of linked. But it's because everyone's talking about it, it just came to mind. I just thought of it. But I've like the episode itself, I really, really enjoyed it. For me, for the first time in a while, like an episode, I've proper gone, wow, oh my god. I've there's some criticisms of it. Is there? I don't know. I really like the episode.
What kept you from giving this like 10? Was there something in there that you're just like, you know what, maybe that kind of part could have been a little bit better?
I don't know. I don't think there is a reason. Matt Smith's not in it. No.
That, and you know what? That can absolutely be it, because that could be, honestly, that was going to be my next thing is it just maybe you have that this, and a lot of people do this when we rank, and it's your personal favorites. So maybe, is this going to be an episode that I'm going to watch again? Is this an episode that I'm going to be ranking this as, oh, no, you've never watched Doctor Who? This is one of my short list of what you need to be watching. And sometimes you're not going to put it in that high up until you've watched it the second time or the third time.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, I change my opinions like the weather changes, like. Yeah. Because like I'll say, and someone will go, oh, what's your favourite Doctor Who episodes? And I'll be like, oh, it's Blink, it's this, that, it's Blue Yonder. But then you ask me 2 weeks time and I'll completely change, you know. I don't think there is a specific reason why it's not a 10. It just, I don't know, there's something in me that doesn't quite give it the 10, and I'm not quite sure what that is.
I think there's a lot of little things too sometimes. Like for me, it was like really even down to like the lighting was a little bit too bright for something that was supposed to be scary. And that, removed the drama. And so like there's just little things sometimes that keep it from being a full 10. Even if you're like, yeah, it was really good. It's just, there's small things in the production sometimes that can lower it for you.
And that could come back to just the balance of we want the light and the dark here. We want the scary and the not so scary, and the scary. That lighting.
Yeah. I mean, they gave us Silence of the Library moments there, and very purposefully gave it to us, right? So they're very clearly, Russell knows what he's doing. He is. I agree with you, Jessamine. We are actually seeing steps. These are like breadcrumbs being laid out for us. It's very rare that he puts out this amount of breadcrumbs in 2 episodes and then doesn't do something with them. I'm totally agreeing with you about the toy maker, because it's not precedent setting. It's not the first time the toy maker has done something so overarching. So
it makes sense. It makes sense because they kept teasing him. They kept showing him in the adverts and the trailers and everything. It was all him, and then to save him for the final episodes. Someone that big that everyone in a sense loves. There's got to be more within these first 2 episodes. I think that's got to do with the toy maker that we probably won't see until the 3rd.
Exactly, and I have to agree also about it being breadcrumbs, because I still feel the Sacha Dhawan's monster is out of place. I really still feel that way, and I feel that he is tied to the Celestial toy maker, and so going all the way back there. Could have happened at that point. Could have happened during 12's time with Missy. Who's to say? But yeah, it's definitely, there's something going on.
So I just want to quickly, that's the wrong one. The account's moved. Mark said, can someone explain why the Wild Blue Yonder and Midnight are scary episodes? I just can't see it. It's just going out on Essex on a Friday night. I want to come back to this another day.
That's such a weird thing to say.
We will talk about this another day.
I think is 100%. That's a full episode right there.
Yep.
And I think that's definitely Isha needs to go on.
I will make so many citations to Twilight Zone episodes. It's going to be stupid.
I think yes. I think people want that and deserve that explanation as to why from a variety of different reasons.
It's called horror, sweetie. Look it up.
As we have a week between this and Christmas. Definitely plausible.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And we have a week.
We have, I don't know when we plan to talk about like our thoughts on that, by the way. I don't want to derail, and if we want to talk about it in the after show, or if we want to talk about it after but they've started dropping news about the special and information about the characters, and I've never felt so ancient in my life. So whenever we're ready to talk about what we think might be coming after.
Can you give us a 30-second now of why you feel ancient? Can you give us the elevator why?
I know.
Ruby Sunday is named after the road and the church where she was dropped off as a baby in 2004.
Okay, yeah.
Guys, why not? That just makes her Rose's age.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
And I have a thought that a friend pointed out to me, but I'll talk about that another time. But yeah, ancient.
Ancient 2004.
Bless.
I was 20. I was
Oh,
24
light
years
bulb
old.
went on.
I could be Ruby Sunday mother.
I think I know. Light bulb just went off. Oh yeah. I
Yes,
see
we
it.
just-
I
we
see
get- we
it.
just-
Yes.
Uh-huh.
You know, 2004 is not. This is not the first time we have gotten that year.
Yeah.
No?
There you go. I said it out loud. Spoke it into existence, people. This year is well known. If you don't know, go and look it up. And then come back and talk about it in the future.
We may not have to look it up. That may all come crashing down in a few days.
You
It's
think
out
so?
there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
No.
this probably also related to the Celestial Toy Maker too. Probably.
I mean, like, you know, like Donna's impetus, Doctor Who, when things start.
Mhm.
Let's go back.
Well, can I also tell you? I just realized for the first time this week, I've been expecting this entire time Donna was going. This would be the end. We'd never see Donna again. It'd be beautiful but tragic, and she'd be gone. But like, I have no reason to think that currently, and now I'm like, oh my god, Donna could just keep appearing. She might meet Shudigawa. I don't see why not. And that's
Right.
yeah, Donna could continue to be a part of this. The Celestial Toy Maker could.
Mhm.
Who knows what's going on,
Exactly.
folks?
Who
Well,
knows?
I-
I mean, couldn't it be possible that we could see the two? And I'm forgetting their names right now, so somebody will have to remind me here. In the Flocks, the two villains in the Flocks
Oh yeah, anything
that
from
just
that.
kind of had unresolved.
Spiny
Yeah.
people,
I would love to see them come
Vinder.
back.
So we've got these two unresolved characters who've met the Doctor before that are evil and scary and mysterious.
Oh, Swarm and Azure.
Yes.
Yes.
These two mysterious, weird characters here that have just met the Doctor and don't know anything about them.
And they look like drag queens, so you know Russell T Davies is going to want to play with them.
Yeah,
They
they
look and act like drag
may
queens.
have just seen
So- Oh, Doctor.
There's another link back that Russell could easily tug together. I would not be surprised to see that. Now that that's been pointed out, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and there's another thing too that someone in the audience could, or if somebody here knows this, I don't know if this is actually true. There was I had heard a theory that Mavity, because gravity was said Mavity, that this was actually a joke going back to Sarah Jane Smith and the First Doctor. I'm like, that's my Sarah Jane stuff is not very accurate, so I don't know if that is actually true or not, if it was a joke, or apparently it was a flub line by both her and also from William Hartnell, but I don't know. And that's where it came from.
Let's look that up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've been hearing a lot of talk of that, and I haven't come across anything because I'm like, well, my knowledge of Sarah Jane Smith is very fuzzy because my Fourth Doctor stuff is very fuzzy.
I think I may be offended here. I'm not entirely sure.
I thought Dave was the eldest, the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS panel.
I'm not. I honestly don't know the answer to that, but also I think I'm just offended out of pure spite and
That happened to me. Yeah. Someone did that to me on our show, and I had to be like, I'm 37, you wicked old witch.
I get to claim that accolade, people. There's hardly
Yeah,
anyone on this
Actually,
team
yes,
that is older
I
than me.
do know how old you are, and yes,
Yeah. So
Yeah, I know.
But you look gorgeous.
I'm not
so-
I
jealous.
know it's.
Thank you.
I say I know it's Nisha only because she's told me, and I still to this
Mhm.
day think she is a filthy liar.
yeah.
I know.
There's
I
no
know.
way.
She doesn't look it at all. at all.
Exactly. Exactly. Ugh.
As a
Okay.
complete aside, so everyone knows that I play Quidditch. I play quad ball now, as it's called. We have established I'm probably the oldest active player in Canada, probably North America, possibly the world at this point. I was definitely one of the oldest before everything shut down in COVID.
Wow.
So are you at the age where
Wow.
now, before you do any type of physical activity, you have to tape up first
Depends on the
and
day.
have the ice ready for your knees afterwards?
Not so much that, but depends on the day. But no, I've definitely had points where it's like, I had someone at the Western Canadian Championships asked if I was the coach, rather than one of the players. I have had a hospital, because I took one of my players to the hospital for a concussion, ask if I was their dad.
Ooh.
And I did the math, and I could be, and it wouldn't have even been outrageous.
Yeah.
So yes,
Oh, man.
I will take that. I will take it. I know, even though we know it's actually Nisha, I'm just gonna say no, it's not.
And you know what? Because well, in that case, I guess the horrible saying is age before beauty. So if you'd
Yeah.
like, you can go next because you gave this.
This is fair. I
I was
can't.
gonna
And
say
mine as
it's
well as me.
weird.
Unless
It's
you want to,
weird.
rock paper scissors.
No, I'll go next. But
Okay.
I did this once, and I looked like Kraven the Hunter. I looked like a bloody supervillain. It was ridiculous.
Plus, it's exhausting. So yeah, I get it.
So we did say we were going to run a couple of quick commercials. So I'm going to run those.
Yes.
I'm going to run
Yeah,
those
go ahead
now.
and do that.
We're gonna have whopping two commercials. We're cutting them back because there's a whole lot of changes behind the scenes. But we do want to give a couple of shout outs because they are wonderful human beings. And I've just lost it. There we go.
Jake Collins has been launched into the stratosphere by the popular social media app Yin Yang.
I just think it's incredible that someone from our hometown we knew so well.
That's my holy grail.
You are the closest thing this town has to a hero.
I'm still just Jake.
And there we go. That's our commercials for the day. That's probably going to be one of the last times we see that Worlds Apart, because they have very much changed the look, feel, and gameplay. I might actually play it on my Twitch channel after the show. But I'm trying to figure out what I want to play something, and that is very strongly a contender because I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. But yes, let's just take a quick look at a couple of these other people's ratings and comments. So we did get the ratings back for Starbeast, 7.61 million. Keeping in mind, the show kind of topped out around 10 million, so that's a pretty decent number. A UK number of 10 million compared to 7.6 is pretty decent. 36.5% of the whole UK audience, 84% audience rating. I love seeing that. That's great because there's been so much fury over certain things that I'm glad that there are other people seeing it. The Gravity of Situation line by the Doctor of the Donna made me haha. 8 out of 10 JWC reviews.
Wow.
So there we go. Another positive. Roger had a 10 out of 10. And seeing Wilf one more time,
Yeah.
so much inside. We'll come back to that in a second. I think.
Yeah.
9 fancied a tree lady after. Oh, that wasn't a rating. That was just the episode.
Oh yeah.
I just kind of went, 9. Love the episode. The scenes when they were all talking are brilliant. Extra large monster. We already looked at that one already. Sorry.
Right.
Kid show would give them nightmares. Mwahaha.
And the couch.
Yep, that's the famous story. Hiding behind the couch. Saw a tweet earlier from a teacher, and he said he heard some kids saying my arms are too long. So there's your proof that it isn't at least sort of a kid's show. And that's something that I've said about this whole sequence of these specials is that it definitely is it's not that anything's being forced out there. It is just very much a Gen Z, Gen Alpha level of conversations that seem to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
8 out of 10 for Andrew. General Grievous gives it an 8 as well. Andrew gave it an extra mark for Wilf.
Yeah.
That's good. yeah, no, we've got a lot of great conversations out there. 8 out of 10 for General Grievous. And 10 out of 10 for Doctor Who at 60 and Beyond. And that's a really high bar for me. I really did love this episode. There's our transition in. Look, a segue. But yeah, that's what I really. It's such a high bar that I couldn't give it a 10, but but it was nothing significant or breaking. Someone mentioned on Saturday, and I think in one of the comments here about some of the effects being in a few places. And I think part of that is a lot of our TVs now have that motion smoothing setting that's really meant for sports. And that messes with a lot of green screen effects. Just the way it's programmed. And we've lost your sound, Melanie. Just for the record.
There we go. Maybe I pushed the mute button.
Maybe on your end for sure. Now we can hear you. But yeah, so that was that was kind of an iffy thing for me. But overall, there was very little I didn't love. I loved Wilf at the end. That was amazing. Knowing that it is they did want to have some more stuff with him. He filmed what was there and then passed away. So that's the last of thing. And then they had the nice little, which you would expect, but nevertheless still touching and meaningful, in memory of Bernard Cribbins for that. So yay on that. That was lovely. That was amazing. I think that whole scene was really well done, top to bottom. Wilf aside, I think that whole scene was brilliantly done. Of this is great. Everything is right in the world now. What do you mean everything's about to explode?
Well, no, it's not.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's not Doctor Who.
Exactly. That it wouldn't be in his life. Yes, that's the way that goes, as Donna has pointed out. I really did love the opener with Isaac Newton. It was fun, and for all of the conversation about it, and about Nathaniel Curtis being the person who did it, that part, who cares? At the end of the day, honestly, the color of his skin is probably the least inaccurate part of that entire scene. There is no historical evidence he got hit in the head.
No.
He didn't coin the phrase.
Oh, I love that.
No, we didn't.
That is not Newton that did that. He certainly didn't get hit by a whole tree's worth of apples.
He didn't get hit by an apple. That's the best part.
Curtis is about 1.5 feet taller than what Newton was, 10 to 15 years older than what Newton was, which apparently is a problem.
The hair.
Yeah.
I like the hair. I thought the hair was good. I love the hair. And then yet again, we have somebody named Verity in Doctor Who that just shows up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So listen, this is all timey-wimey stuff, right? You can go and find Newton at a different tree at a different time when he got hit with a whole bunch of apples, and there comes Mavity. There you go. Exactly. It's all possible. It's all plausible.
Yeah, no, it was such great. It was so good. I think that scene was dead on. It was hilarious. It was what it needed to be. It was what it tried to be. And at the end of the day, I mean, part of the reason he got that part is because he's friends with RTD because they work together on It's a Sin.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's going to keep happening.
There are only 8 guys in British cinema. That's how they all get work. So yeah, I loved that. I'll call it pseudo horror. The psychological horror, the dark was really well done. I definitely think that something is going to. I mean, they were a little bit bludgeony with the just like at the end of Starbeast. Well, that was cryptic. Hate that. And now, invoke superstition at the end of the world. At the end of the universe, this is going to come back and bite me in the butt. Yeah, probably is. So I think that was a little bit. It was a combination of not even clumsy, just blunt. But I still loved it, and I love that it's going to come back. I I kind of think that some of these very blunt foreshadowing has been intentional. Not in a way of there's going to be other thing that people are focusing on, and I'd rather them not miss the actual important stuff. So here it is. Everyone's going to focus on Isaac and miss the fact that this is going to come back.
This detail, that detail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was part of the thing.
Is this Richard? Is this you, Richard?
Have already rewatched it, sat down and watched it. So I got to watch. We watched both of the two specials.
Cute.
And Five Nights at Freddy's, because I hadn't seen Five Nights at Freddy's yet, and neither of them had seen the two specials and wanted to. But they loved every second of it. Even the boy who doesn't like Doctor Who and doesn't care. He was just there because I wanted to watch it, and his sister, who's not a Whovian, she's a David Tennant, a Tennantian, wanted to watch it for him, but they loved it. They had nothing felt out of place for them, which I think speaks a lot, and that's a conversation for another time, because Melanie hasn't given her thoughts.
No, I haven't. I guess that's my segue to go. All right. So, like Dave, I gave this a 9. Now, funny enough, the last episode I gave a 10. I think it's because I can't say that I definitely liked this one more or definitely liked it less. Actually, I should say that. I give that one 10. I give this one a 9. It's not like I didn't give this one such a lower grade because I didn't like it as much. But it didn't leave me with that stupid happy grin I had at the end of the last episode, because I think I was just so thrilled that we got Doctor Who back, and now we have and then we have more storytelling, and it was amazing, and I was just so happy, and just my Whovian heart was just grew 3 sizes that day. I didn't have that because now we're back to having Doctor Who, so the bar was, I don't know if it was raised or lowered. It was just different. I had a different bar. Yeah. Like I said before, the effects were amazing, albeit silly. And again, I get stupid, like crazy bad secondhand embarrassment over the weirdest stuff where I will just stop looking at a television, where I don't know why, but I all of a sudden feel embarrassed for something. And I was getting that with just the weirdness of the characters. So, spoiler alert, if you've seen, if you haven't seen the Dungeons and Dragons Among Thieves, just wait until I don't know, put this back up again or something. There's a scene in that where the character that Chris Pine does, his mouth kind of gets weird and starts moving and stuff like that because the magic's doing something weird, and it's in the commercial. So. This did the same thing, and I don't know why, but that just kind of just creeps me out, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's done well. The effect is done beautifully. It's just unsettling to me, and I'm like, I just don't want to see it. And that happened a lot on this one, so I think because I had those little weird cringy things for no actual psychological reasoning or, of why, that kind of brought it down a little bit for me. But okay, the things that we haven't hit on. 1, love the heck that the captain was a centaur, but not the way you think. Because that was awesome. Because I'm like, oh, she has a horse head. Oh, she has a body, but she's humanoid. But there was a horse head. That's really freaking cool. So that one I thought was a big high point. Second high point, loved the Wilf. I mean, again, Wilf's back, and how tying back to Donna going on when she's putting her little things in there, and she's going on about what's gonna happen. It's funny how cathartic this Donna is now, and that she's already quickly compartmentalized and have come to peace with the fact that if she's never going to return, Rose and Sean are going to keep coming back to her, go over there and they're going to stay vigil for a while, and then eventually, they'll move on. Except Sean, I mean, he's never going to go. He's never going to move on. Bless his soul, bless his heart, because you can see she knows her husband. Because it didn't come from like a place of like narcissism, but just the fact that she just knows her husband, and that would be just how he would be. Which I was like, oh, that's lovely that she has that type of love now and that type of relationship. And that how she brings up that Wilf would just keep showing up and probably just sit there with his thermos or whatnot and just keep watching. And then we get to the end, and that's what happened. That she didn't show up within the 2 days or whatever, how many days it was. And there's Wilf just sitting there in front of the TARDIS, keeping watch so the other two can keep going with their lives. I liked how that came full circle. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, so again, I don't have the biggest brain, and it took me a while to understand what was going on with the slow, to the point where I got to a point where I just was like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. It makes complete sense. And I had to think about it. My head didn't wrap around it perfectly, but at least I understood a little bit. It was okay. Monsters can only think as fast as actual people can think. So if actual people think slowly, monsters won't cotton on to what's going on, because you can't there's no way for you to stay a step ahead of them unless you go really slow to slow them down too. So that part is kind of how I internalized it and understood at the end, and why the captain was like, okay, I'm going to go. They're not going to figure it out. And little Marvin looking slow robot's going to take his time and push the red button. I thought it was Marvin. I'm like, oh, sweet. This is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's who I thought it was.
Yeah.
I absolutely was slow about the slow, because even then, because I get that they wanted him to talk more so that it was almost like their computing power could speed up. So as fast as he was thinking, they could think. So a lot of that brain wasn't really quite wrapping around it, but I bet the next time I watch it, because I only watched it the one time, that was yesterday, I'll probably get it more the next time. I got enough of it where, okay, I think I figured it out. But I was still having fun. And I couldn't believe the doctor chose wrong. He didn't choose Donna. Did anybody else have that freak out moment of, oh my, Russell, you bring Donna back and we're all freaking out that her mind's going to burn from the inside out? And no, you're going to actually burn her from the outside in? I was so just doing this to my television, like on my couch watching, going, no, and she's crying.
Didn't love it. Not a fan. Was not a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How dare he play with my emotions like that?
I thought he did it on purpose. I thought the doctor did it on purpose but I couldn't understand why he did it on purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it's like, I don't like how 10 has the same problem where they both like to play with like death right the moment there. And just like, I didn't like that about 10. I don't like that about 14.
Yeah, I don't know if he did it on purpose. I really think he just didn't know. Because why would you put your friend through that?
Yeah.
Kind of the flip side of Donna not wanting to admit, yes, I know how much trauma you've gone through, and I'm just not going to bring it up because I don't want you. But yeah, so I'm still angry about that, because don't do that.
Maybe this is the case of the doctor's not a human. That's why.
Yep. I'm surprised that didn't come back either when he said on our planet, and clearly indicating that he was talking about him and Donna as what felt like a way to fake out the aliens.
Oh, okay.
Right? Oh, you think we're both on Earth? No, you were clearly not right.
Oh, okay. So that could have been his way to verify his hypothesis, maybe?
Yeah. And we talked about a bit about this on Saturday, and I'll buzz through it really fast. That Beta Ray Bill, who was a version of Thor, who looks like that captain.
Yes, very skeletal horse-like.
Yeah, and Tom has tied this all together because I said the one thing I want out of this whole Disney-ness, beyond the fact that Disney owns Fox and Fox owns a lot of the Eighth Doctor stuff, is that I want to see Death's Head, who is a Marvel character, who is also kind of one of those. He was Deadpool before Deadpool, and so now we've got this other connection to the MCU with we've got Meep, we've got Beta Ray Bill. Maybe we can have Death's Head. I want Death's Head.
Doctor Who at 60 said he said she was copied 99.9%, and it wasn't until he measured her arm that he knew. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Okay, so maybe it was educated guess until he could get one of them on the ship to measure, and then that was his definitive way of knowing. Okay, yeah. And then he would have time to swap out.
And what was really funny to me is the question was, and why is that funny? And one says the one thing and the other says the other thing. And my husband and I turned to each other and we're like, it's because it's funny because of Mr. Bean. What are either of them talking about? Not it's a woman with the name of a vegetable. Not it just is funny. It's funny because Mr. Bean. So like I would have been left behind too, I guess. Sorry, Doctor. It was just such a weird moment. And it feels like there's a lot of things that he's trying to do that are, classic Russell writing gems. Like the arms are too long. That's meme dialogue. We haven't had that in a while. And then stuff like that being dramatic and exciting. It actually just makes me feel like the Doctor is incompetent, and I don't love that.
No, Mark. It's not happen. No, Mark. No, there's a terrible plan.
How dare you?
What's good?
Mark, no.
That'd be terrible.
And one thing
I don't think so.
And the one other thing is I'm kind of thinking, and going back to where we were kind of talking about the toy maker and how Jessamine had brought up that maybe all of this is leading to the toy maker. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, yes, it has to lead up to the toy maker, because isn't this when we're going to lose and say goodbye to 14 because he's leading to a regeneration? And now the back of my mind, I'm going, but are we sure that we're going to see a regeneration, or are we going to see a sideways thing? Or is there a way that we're going to have a time skip and all of a sudden they're not going to actually regenerate and have him off doing something? And meanwhile, we're going to just, have the 14th. And now I don't know. Now I'm confused if that's going to definitely be the game plan that RTD is going to lay out of, okay, well, here's 14 and we already have 15. Clearly there's going to be regeneration to get to here. I'm almost wondering somehow that doesn't happen, and that's going to be another plot point that we're slowly having seeds to. I
mean, what the hell is going on?
The only thing that in any way has me being like maybe about that is I was a person who balked at the idea of David Tennant playing the 14th Doctor. I was like, no. It ultimately wasn't a lot of what people speculated where it was like a degeneration or anything like that. It turns out it was almost flashbacks. So it was almost the 10th Doctor, but back in time. But I never would have thought that they would do something like that. So I don't want to be here saying that's ludicrous. They would never split the Doctor. And then a week from now, he's sitting here. Yep, here we are. I don't know. I don't know.
Special. It's weird. I'm already happy about this Doctor, and now I'm about to have to prepare myself to say goodbye again.
Exactly. For me, I felt like, and this is just my own personal, because of how wacky everything is and how much it is. I feel like for myself, the only way I'd be satisfied to having losing Tennant would be getting the Valyard. That's just me. I want the Valyard
all the time. That is your wish.
75th anniversary. David Tennant is the Valyard.
Yeah.
I love that.
Anything, me and possibilities. Anything's possible. I actually think this is a side universe, personally.
I do too.
I said this before. I've said it now for a bit. I believe this is an offshoot that has a lot to do with the Flux. And as Jessamine, I believe, had what you were saying, I think what this gives, I've said it before, I think this gave them an opportunity to take the entire story arc and create a side universe, which we now know, because we've known for a while, is established, right? There's not one universe. They don't even run parallel. They run like this.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere along the line, there are different doctors. So we never, I feel like I've gotten in my brain, I'm just accepted. We never know which doctor we're dealing with when.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even we don't know which Earth we're dealing with when, too, because
Yeah.
Earth come and gone and come and gone and
Mm-hmm.
come and gone. So which one are we on right now?
Exactly. And that goes back also, here, another Easter egg there. It goes back to when Ten and Rose were around on the show, because there was, and it ended up going to Big Finish instead, because at the time Billy Piper was not available to do the story, but there is in Big Finish established that Rose trying to get back to the Doctor when the Dr. Donna, right before she comes about, is she has to go through multi-universes. So it's very, very plausible.
Yeah, the dimension canon.
Yeah, that maybe, and I think Nisha and I, we had this conversation that we thought that after 12 regenerated, that somehow the time thing all warped, and 13 is from the alternate universe, and that Sacha Dhawan was also from the alternate universe, and that's how everything has come to be.
Now,
so I'm just going to interrupt for half a second,
yes,
so that we can quickly say goodbye to anyone who's listening on the audio. We're going to continue this in our after party. We can keep going as long as we want, because we can. But for those of you who are just listening on the audio, thank you for joining us. By all means, find us all of the places that we are, some of which may or may not change, so I'm not going to list them all off.
Wherever you're listening to us now, thank you, and continue listening to us next week.
Exactly. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all of that, and we will see you in approximately 7 seconds.
Yes.
Boom. Does anyone count? Technically, that's 6 seconds, a 6-second video, but give that a 1 extra second of blinking time. All right. Now, please continue. I will go back to shutting up.
I was just going to ask everyone here, and even on out there for those watching us, are you good with the idea that there's a multiverse when it comes to Doctor Who, and that we could be open to seeing other stories and stuff like that? Yes. Or is it going to be more streamlined, almost like how we have all these stories from Big Finish, and we're still having a single timeline, and we just get to have more and more content that's just thrown into it? I'm personally good for multiverses. I'm like, let's go dimension canon. Let me have sideways things. I'm good with the concept.
Yeah, I've been throwing it out there for how long?
Mark points this out. Jasmine, Jasmine, have you seen the Tales of the TARDIS episodes that have come out over there?
Actually, no. For my sins, I haven't seen them, but it's fine. Go for
it. They're a little bit harder to get in North America. That's why I
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
They're not on Disney. I'm sure they'll show up somewhere. I got them through, sea deviled them. That's the new term for pirated, is now sea deviled.
Sea deviled.
But yeah, the split universes has been confirmed in Tales of the TARDIS. Doctor said in one time stream I get old, and another I don't. So that's
okay,
a valid thing that's being dragged in. Or 9 Gallifreys during the Time War. Yeah.
Yeah.
We know that Ace had all sorts of these non-canon-y histories that went through all sorts of everything, and that Sophie Aldred brought all of those together MCU style at Childhood's End. If you haven't read the book, go read it, because it is absolutely amazing. And even better, listen to the audio, because she's fabulous. But that's the thing, that if that were that's another way to bring this in, right? There's all these other bits. We brought in Meep. We brought in the Meeps from the comics now.
Mm-hmm.
The 8th Doctor had talked about a few of his Big Finish companions, right? They're starting to pull in these threads.
Yep.
All of these other medias. And they tried to do it with Time Lord Victorious. They tried to kind of make a little bit more of a structure between the different media. True. And theoretically also with Doomsday, that failed miserably. No one cared. But so they've been trying to pull in all of these other threads. And so that would be definitely a way to do that, would be some kind of a multiverse.
Well, the 10th Doctor summed it up in, was it in Blink, where he says that time isn't I'm going to get this quite wrong, from one point to another, rabs on a bit and he goes, it's basically just a big ball of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. It's non-linear, it's non-subjective. You don't have a start and a finish. And I think that's where the writers got it from Russell. That you've just got this like mess of everything that, anything can happen. Because like even in I'm awful with episode names. The 11th Doctor, where the junkyard TARDIS. I can't even think of it.
Oh, Idris.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he talks and he describes to Pond about having the bubble universe, and you got the little pocket on the outside of it.
Yeah.
They've made reference to this before, and I know Disney are big on their multiverses. I mean, you look at Spider-Man, you look at the superheroes. They're big on it, and I think it was always there in Doctor Who. Yeah, with the books and the big finish and all that. But I think now it's just actually bringing it to the screen. I think it was always there. You can't have time travel and have it from point A to point B because that's not how time works. So,
which that just, I don't know why my brain just went took your thought that you had and the whole multiverse thing, and then went a whole screwed other direction. That's what my brain does, being neurodivergent. I just thought of this idea. What if we find out next episode? Let's just take, this idea that we are in an alternate universe. And instead of the Doctor trying to get to Gallifrey, it's now the Doctor is trying to get back to his Earth because he's in an alternate universe because of this flux. Maybe the Vision somehow kicked through the 13th Doctor and Yaz somehow after they departed, that somehow they ended up in an alternate universe.
An alternate universe, yeah. That's kind of...
So basically now I have to go through and watch all of the Flux before Saturday. Thanks,
Yeah.
Mackenzie.
Oh,
I had Thanks, Mackenzie.
Okay, because the Flux very clearly gives you... it doesn't give you a clear delineation. What it did instead is it gave you endless possibility. And because of the way it was created and written, which is why I still love all of it, it gave us the possibility to go backwards in Jodie's time, go forward in Jodie's time, go to the left of Jodie's time, and go to the right of her time. It physically showed you that movement. You were able to see that movement. So tell me that it isn't possible for us to go back to Trenzalore. It's 1,000% possible because Trenzalore in and of itself was a time loop. It was a time loop. So Russell can do anything he wants with anything. Honestly.
I wonder almost if multiverse is even the wrong word for it.
Yeah.
I don't like that word hate. But yeah, exactly. It's always been
is a buzzword for it.
Yeah, and that's just the word that people use these days. But so, Whoniverse something.
Yeah, I think it's a universe.
That comment just there, yeah.
Kind of reminds me a little about the comment. Okay.
Didn't the Ascension of the Cybermen give us a strange portal to Gallifrey? Maybe that was an alternative dimension.
Exactly, because as far as we knew, is that Gallifrey had been put into a pocket. And how else would the monster go from Missy, regenerate somehow, get so angry that he ends up repressing everything, all of the pain that he's carried all these years? He just goes and explodes essentially in mental health and then takes it all on the Doctor. It makes more sense that it was an alternate universe and that Sacha Dhawan's monster never went through what Missy went through, because there are certain things. And I went back to 12 years to listen to some of the episodes. And when there's an episode where, and I can't remember the episode either, but it's the episode where Capaldi gets that remembrall that he's supposed to tell his last words into. And there's a thing that Missy says that hadn't happened yet. It was Sacha Dhawan's monster that did it, but yet she knew about it. How would she know that unless something in the timeline has been?
You and I talked about this, that we thought what had happened was that very clearly we fleshed this out big time. So the way that the master was as Sasha Dewan, this is a pre-Missy incarnation mentally and personality wise, because we are way, way, way back at I would say a very much earlier regeneration. They obviously, the master can be out of time loop the same exact way, but that I'm trying to remember the episode, guys, the one where they're at the the gala soiree where
it's the same thing.
Spymaster.
Okay, that episode,
Spyfall.
So Spyfall actually is the episode where Sasha Dewan's master talks about letting us know, hey, you can't assume that I'm from your timeline. You technically, he doesn't say those words, but he's saying something like, you don't know. You don't know. Don't assume you know. Because what you think you know is not correct. And I have a reason for why I am like I am right now. Now it's your turn to go figure it out, is basically what he's saying. He's like, go figure it out. I don't think that we got to the end of that at all. But
no, I definitely feel there's more to the master. Yeah. And also that would go along with, well, spoilers, because I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. But there's all these rumors going around that River Song's coming back. So how else would she come back unless this might be a River Song from the alternate dimension? You know, she might never have died in an alternate dimension. So therefore, the alternate River could come help us figure out what's going on.
And we do know that RTD was not going to undo the flux.
Yeah.
Not going to undo any of the 13 stories. So, no, all of that is entirely plausible.
Yeah. And it makes, for me, I love the flux as it was, but this makes it even more exciting if there is now another alternate diversion that's happened, or dimension that's happened now with all of this. It's tying it all together. I love that. It makes it endless for different stories and where Doctor Who can go.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea that the flux makes it so that that people at, like, right now with Marvel and everything, we started with Spider-Man across, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That movie proved that a general audience can wrap their heads around a multiverse, and that's people who've been reading comics have been able to figure that out for decades upon decades, that you could have multiple dimensions, or you could have multiple universes, and that they can either run parallel, they can run linear, they can go crisscross, and that time could be different between each one, time could run differently, all that kind of stuff. And here we even have, at least with Doctor Who, with the dimension canon, with the 10th Doctor saying how time doesn't run the same way with Pete's world. And then you have in Big Finish, you have Donna, you have Rose using the dimension canon, looking up, going off of these other worlds. So time can run differently on this. And then with Flux, I know, back to my previous thing, everything for an audience right now is very, okay, we've got multiverses. I think a lot of people are trying to, or at least me watching like blogs and other YouTube videos like us, are trying to shoebox everything into a concept of a multiverse. And in reality, we have our concept, and it's the flux, and it's just a little bit different. So you can be flash forward, you can flash backward, and you can flash sideways. So in my mind, I kind of think of, I love the heck out of the TV show Lost, and they did that forward, backward, sideways kind of thing, where it wasn't multi-dimensions, it was just something else. And I really believe Flux, even though you can kind of start overlaying things so that we can kind of wrap our heads around it, to go, or when I say hour, I mean the royal hour, maybe it's a multiverse. It's not. I think you have to honestly go back and watch Flux and really just say, this is these are the building blocks of what the Flux was. This is what the building blocks of what it is and what it isn't. And no, that's the framework that we're rolling with. So time is in flux. We can have different things here.
What I thought was really interesting about what you're saying here is thinking about the flux. There were many maybe throwaway characters, but if you go back and think about them, they knew things about the Doctor's timeline that the Doctor didn't know.
The Ruth Doctor,
There it is. Not the
Fugitive,
doctor's
yeah,
timeline that
Fugitive doctor.
nobody knew.
Sorry.
So
Yes.
let's consider that if he's not throwing it away, all those characters who knew, and there were a lot, there were enough. What did they know that we never found out?
Mhm.
Exactly. That's why I want Swarm back, because I felt he knew maybe just as much as the monster did, if not more. Yeah.
And even in this episode from Wild Blue Yonder, that was brought up of Doctor, do you know where you're from? You don't, do you?
You don't,
and you still have to figure that out. So it makes me wonder, is that going to be the thing that this doctor's going to go off and figure out? Or is this going to be, it almost feels like that this is kind of that this is the carrot on the stick for the doctor of, okay, here's your next mission. Or is that going to be Shooty's mission or what have you? Or is that just going to be in the back of the mind kind of thing? Who was the doctor? They really from the Lungbarrow and all that of Gallifrey and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be 14 because I don't think there's enough time to really establish that. But we could get some hints at least.
Mm-hmm.
And look at that. The word time. Yeah.
I also really feel like for as much as, Russell is going to bring back the element of, the mysteries and the arcs, I can't help feeling like something he is also going to try and make sure he's leaning into is making sure it's still accessible for new audiences. The only reason that I would say I don't know that it would be as complicated as we are perhaps projecting is because I don't know that would make it accessible to new audiences. And so I really think it just depends on what he ultimately deems to have faith in the audiences and what they have the ability to make of Doctor Who. I think the only reason they wouldn't necessarily split and have the 14th Doctor go off and all that stuff is maybe because they don't have the ability to make something with the 14th Doctor then. As far as David is saying, this is it for him for now, but who knows? He could be lying. But yeah, no, I also feel like I really feel like Russell's trying to push it back into the cartoon levels of canon and reality. It's something that I talk a lot about, this theory that I have of like, sometimes on a television show, like on Modern Family, when Phil comes home with a llama, that's a joke that actually doesn't really work in reality. Who buys a llama? How do you return a llama? It's cartoonish humor. And it's not that a cartoon can't still make you think and can't still make you feel things. Otherwise, people wouldn't cry when they see that dog outside the pizza parlor in Futurama. Cartoons can have poignance and relevance and drama and can do things like that. But cartoons also do things like Mavity. Is Mavity going to be a thing forever? Or was that just a one-off joke for that one episode and now it's never going to come up again because it's all just kind of a cartoon? It's really hard to say at this point when we are in the middle of a trilogy. I feel like we will hopefully have a better idea of what to expect from Russell T Davies to go ongoingly at the end of these three. Once we feel we have a complete story, assuming it's a complete story, like we keep saying, maybe it's not. Who knows?
I love what Andrew says there. It's exactly what I was just thinking. No, that one. It's all about the mystery. You know what's brought Doctor Who 60 years into the future? It's because of that. It's a constant state of mystery and possibility. It's like always, oh, wow, this is a possibility. Oh, wait, maybe this could happen. Maybe that could happen. Wow. And your mind is a buzz all the time. That's what I love about Doctor Who and will always love about Doctor Who. And I'm like, you guys know, Doctor Who shaped my mind, it shaped my thinking, it shaped my career. So, I will never leave it ever. But it's because it taught me to think outside every box that's possible. And like, I think we have to have that. We need to never let those boxes like self-explode or close in on us. We need to, yeah. So sorry, soapbox.
No, you're good. I do have a question though for the panel, and that's because I really don't know it. And maybe you guys do. Does anybody know what the runtime for the Giggle's supposed to be? Are we getting the same 55-minute?
It was mentioned farther up that it is supposed to be more than an hour.
Oh.
An hour and 1 minute is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, there we go. We'll just let it be an hour and 1 minute. We'll run with that.
Okay, so it's just a little bit longer than.
That could be wrong. That was just the first Google result.
That just saying. The original episode, the very first airing aired a minute late. the first broadcast of Doctor Who started a minute after it was supposed to, and now we're getting a show for the 60th, an hour and 1 minute.
We've got around an hour, and Mike says an hour and 5 minutes.
So we're a little bit more than an hour, but we don't know how much.
A little bit more. So maybe something where it's just a little bit more, where it's like, look, I can't cut any more out of this. This is all stuff that needs to be on here. And that was one thing
that America, screw you, you can't have commercials. Oh wait, you don't have to have commercials anymore.
We don't have to have commercials
because we're on Disney Plus.
Yay!
That's how that feels to me. It's a big FU to all of the cable companies that have to run commercials and the constant cutting of Doctor Who in America.
Weird spots.
Commercials in.
And very, yeah.
It was unnatural. It never should have been.
Exactly. Mark has dropped in a link, which I assume is to the thing. Yeah, Mark says an hour and 1 minute. So there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say, if we were 10 years ago and you had a DVR, you'd want to set it for 5 minutes after.
Oh my! And now we've split the age again.
Yes.
2 minutes before and 4 minutes after. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yep. And
okay,
and
this means looking at us like we're all crazy old people.
I was going to say what you had to do with, or what you had to make sure how you set your VHS tape.
You brought up like past traumas of where I've missed the entire show because my thing did not record correctly and either cut off half the show or it didn't even record it at all.
When you have a 4 hour or 6 hour VHS and you had it set to the 2 hour mark.
Yes.
I was just watching an old episode of Saved by the Bell on one of my freebie channels because I love my freebie channels, and it was old Saved by the Bell. We're talking Good Morning Miss Bliss, the first season, and they're doing projects on technology, and the teacher talks about imagine not having a phone, and Lisa's like, not having a phone, and I'm like, that's back when you still had to talk on the phone in the kitchen in front of your parents. And so when adults today talk about kids today being attached to their phones, no, this is what it always would have been if they had the technology then. They were stuck in their kitchen on a cord. But yeah, all these old things, VCRs. You had to pick which show you were going to tape if there were two shows on the same night.
Mm-hmm. And that was a big thing when DVR came out, and you're like, "Ooh, you had the choice of picking two." And then even then, you had something. There was a third one because it ran half an hour over, and
it's like we now join this program as it's going on. Like, why?
There's a joke about that on Fuller House. Kimmy Gibbler's husband talks about I Love Lucy and as like a horror movie, and he's like, "This is back when television would only play once at the exact time. There were only 3 channels, and if you missed it, it was gone forever."
Yeah, my parents had one. My parents had one of those TVs. In fact, I started watching Doctor Who on one of those TVs. And talking about phones, my mom's and dad still have one of those telephones, one of those old telephones, like we see Lassie, where they pick up the phone. Hey, operator. Hey, can you connect me with blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
I actually have one. It's got all the magnets in the inside. It was my grandfather's. And speaking of my other grandfather, we just took down, because I live in my grandparents' old house. We took down his old shed that he built back in the 70s. And in there is a phone, and it's a rotary phone that's just on the wall. And I had to go through and disconnect all the power and disconnect everything. And as I was going through that, the people who were helping me pull it down, I'm starting to take it down, and one part, the mother grabbed one of her daughters and comes over and goes, "Come over here. How would you call me?" And she goes, "Is it charged?" And I was like, well, first of all, fun fact, no, rotary phones didn't have to have a charge. They just had to be plugged in to, there's no power cable. It wasn't until you had ones that had answering machines would have to be charged. But then she was trying to push the buttons, and it's a rotary. Oh, I felt so old. I was like, oh. But you know what? It's the flip
2004.
side now because a kid can go over here and go, all right, do a Snapchat, and I'd be the old person going, I don't understand where did it go? It's the same thing backwards. Okay. Anyway.
So Andrew wants to know.
Yes.
Because we've gotten to a point, I think, where we've
talking about old things.
Yeah, we're just old people screaming at the sky now. We're an Abe Simpson meme. What did you guys think about the way this episode was hyped and or redacted? I think this one
redacted about it.
Yeah,
the plot that they didn't reveal much, and Russell himself even said it's because if you say what the synopsis of the episode is, it's just very on the nose. There isn't really a lot. Like, what happens? Two monsters start copying the Doctor and Donna. Do they defeat them? No, they don't. Like, this is literally what he said. It was part of why they were like, we're gonna withhold this because it should be more of a surprise. It would really take too much of the mystery out of it.
I love that. Honestly, I want more. I've said that since the beginning. I want more of that.
I like that.
I live in a world where I'm happy to have spoilers. I don't care about spoilers. I'm all in on the Marvel behind the scenes rumor mill channels. But, I don't want to know who the next Doctor is.
He had an original. I'm reading Mike's comment. Did he have any missing episodes in his shed? No, he did not, but he did have an original Star Wars metal lunchbox.
Yes.
But it was
I saw that bit of that clip. Oh my god!
It was an original metal. So but I mean, it's all rusted and gone. But I took video of it and I put it on my Instagram. So yes, he actually had that. He does have a bunch of other old, just kind of stuff like an old lathe, old tools, old stuff like that. He was a carpenter, and my great grandfather was a carpenter, so he had a lot of his father. So there's a lot of stuff. No Doctor Who videos, unfortunately. No reel to reels of that.
Andrew likes less spoilers, but not redacting the actors. That leads to people thinking of cameos. You know what? Aside from the fact that, again, we see this a lot in the Marvel movies, that's not a bad thing. It keeps people talking. Oh, I think we're going to have this such and such cameo. Such and such cameo. That keeps it on people's lips. That's free advertising.
I think that also speaks to the way people need to lower their expectations a little bit. Like, I get what you're saying, but like, we can't be too disappointed that it wasn't actually Peter Capaldi and Matt Smith the way some people were speculating. Like, that's also why I'm like not necessarily assuming there's going to be a split regeneration or like anything, because I don't want to get my hopes up and then it's something completely different. I want to be able to like live in the moment.
And RTD's a master manipulator when it comes to.
He's a liar.
He is.
Huge liar.
Lies. And in case people haven't heard me point this out again, back when they first announced Shooty, he's like, most of the people who were out there as rumors, I am the one who started those rumors. Ha 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 ha. Where the hell did James Corden come from? But the rest of them, ha 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 ha. And I loved that. I love that he just basically just trolled us for months on end. And
back in the day, he said Rose is never coming back again after series 2. They had a plan. She was always coming back. That literally what we saw was always the plan. But he lied for 2 years, being like, no, there's no plan. No, Rose is gone. Bye. Because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And, it's his job.
Yeah, like we were never getting Donna back. Dr. Donna, that's it. He closed it out and it was done and over with. Now look. There's no moving forward in the long run without the Dr. Donna in the long. That was the story that had to be fleshed out, and there was so much more to it. I was thinking
in some way.
I know you could have chosen not to do anything with it, but I just think that because of the love of Donna and the love of the arc, I think that it was a good idea to touch on it, because so many people generationally just love that entire relationship, and it was smart to bring it back. Like, my daughter's 30, and for her, that's her doctor. Like, Dr. Donna is her doctor. Capaldi's her doctor. It's interesting. So, but what I was gonna just say real quick, in this household, we watch nothing Doctor Who. We watch absolutely no commercials. We watch nothing ahead. We will not allow ourselves to be spoiled ahead. My daughter will turn it off. the one thing that she says is we're going to watch it completely organically. So when I'm watching it, I'm literally watching it almost as spoiler free as possible.
Do you watch trailers and stuff or no?
Nope.
One of my friends is the same way, where he won't even want, like, for movies, he's like, I haven't seen the trailer, and I'm like, oh really? He's like, because he doesn't want to be spoiled. Period. I'm like, no, that's awesome.
Yeah,
but yeah, typically I'm that same way. I don't want to be spoiled. I mean, I'm good with, I like guessing, I like theorizing. I think sometimes it's fun, but I also like when it's being done in a group setting where it's clearly being done fun, and we're just being, just throwing things out, and it's not meant to be anything of, oh yeah, Matt Smith's coming back, oh my god. And it would be more like, if Matt Smith came back, what do you think, who would be the companion? It's more of that kind of fun, and then just it's more fanficky than actual, trying to figure their eyes, and I have more fun with the fanficky kind of stuff in that spec, like, so I know we're doing this out of fun, and it's not meant to be serious.
Okay.
I'm looking at,
there we go.
And there we go. And there we go. RTD gave warning to the press about these two specials, 2 and 3, and not for children. Or specials 2 and 3 are not for children.
I don't think this was that scary, though.
No,
I mean, yeah, it was scary, but not like, I don't know.
Well, their teeth were kind of.
Yeah, true.
When they start running.
Kids get scared about different things. I mean, you guys probably know the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
I was absolutely petrified, dead scared of the Oompa Loompas. So where we can sit here and say they're not actually that scary, to some kids they might genuinely be terrified of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
Growing up watching Doctor Who, the Empty Child scared me, the Cybermen scared me, the Slitheen. Like, everyone I talk to now go, you were scared of the Slitheen. Yeah, as an 8-year-old kid, petrified of them.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as we can sit here and say that they don't look scary or they weren't scary to us, to kids, to certain kids.
Exactly. And yeah, different people get scared by different things. Like for me, I love the psych horror, and I don't like the American psych horror. I like the Asian, because I find that they can push things to a level that really just creep me out. And I just don't want to turn, I don't want to go to bed at night because the grudge is going to come get me before we come over to US. And
I was able to watch Squid Game and Alice in Wonderland, in Borderland, and those are things nobody in the world would have ever thought I'd watch, and I watched them straight through. I was like, okay, so I now understand a little better about what I can handle when it comes to that. And this Doctor Who's horror factor is palatable, but the reason why it's scary is because the connective nature of it is extremely connected. Like, oh my god, I could be in that situation. That the Empty Child, holy Christ, that is a painful concept. It's just absolutely painful. So I get it. That I've watched it how many times in my life, and I still feel the same thing.
Speaking for me personally, don't mean to go off subject a little bit, it's what scares me is something that looks human but not human. So that's why Midnight works, because it looks human, not human. That's that's why the Cybermen work. They look human. Okay, technically they are human, but they're not your average human. And I think to a point, the what are we even calling them? Doppelgangers in the episode just gone. They look
on that.
The not things. The not things.
Yeah, the not things.
Not things.
The no things or something.
But they looked human, or they took human form, and they began to develop human, or well, certainly Donna's case, human sort of capabilities, but they weren't. I know personally for me, like, I don't mean to go off on a tangent there, but I know that what scares me.
Oh no, because I like that's perfectly fine, because it goes into showing really how well Doctor Who is able to bring these themes and bring them to it, that it might not just be like a scare factor, but putting you into this universe of what if this happened or what if that happened, like using the idea now, not being Doctor Who, but another one that recently in video games that's done a very good job and taking an idea and twisting it so that is scary would be Liza P. Because we all know the Pinocchio story about a boy who's a wooden puppet wants to become a real boy. But instead, Liza P goes a whole entire other layer, and they put a new layer as in, how far would you go if you lost your child? How far would you go to bring them back? And that's what Liza P does. That's so effective and just makes
So I'm just going to interrupt for a second because I know Nisha's running out of time. Mm-hmm. So I want to give you a chance to tell us where we can find you, where we can find Diversely Geek, all of the fun, everything you got going on. Go.
Why, hi. It's called Psychological Thriller, by the way. That's what we're talking about. Yes. We're Diversely Geek, as you guys know, and I've been in the research phase for a very long time, but you're going to be seeing changes on the website at diverselygeek.org coming up. The name has actually changed, guys. So I can't say it yet. The reveal is going to come out pretty soon. Yeah. We're working with some team members on this very panel today to bring you something very new. Based on that new name. Oh boy, do I want to tell you, but I don't think we're ready yet. So a show's coming up. Basically, you guys know that I've been doing the science, the psychology, and the psyche of fandom for a very long time. And I talk about it on here. I talk about it in a lot of places. And well, I think it's about time for me to start really talking about it and get out here and really dig in a little bit deeper. I do that with Living Bunked on 7 through the BTS shows that we do. And it was so successful that a lot of people have asked for me to do it with other fandoms. So I don't want to give the commitment on it yet, but it is coming. And you are definitely going to be seeing some of the panelists on here. I would say the majority of the panelists here. And past who will be participating and helping me flesh out some ideas. If you have a fandom that's extremely psychologically involved, in depth, and really, really connected, let us know. Let Dave know. He'll let me know. So you can find me at diverselygeek.org. You can find us at Diversely Geek on YouTube. You can find us on pretty much any social media channel that's out there. We do have the new name up, which is called To Write Your Own Destiny, because that's the nonprofit side. So that's us.
Thank you. Obviously, stick around as long as you can, but you go when you need to. While we're doing the promoting, everybody, Mackenzie, why don't you come on? Why don't you give us where can we find you, Mackenzie? What do you do? Where are you?
Well, I'm at MackenzieFloor.com, but also I'm here at twitch.tv.MackenzieFloor, where I am a soul and cozy streamer. I mean, those two are very mixed, but that's what I am. So I play cozy games as well as the horror games like Liza P. We're going to be playing that tomorrow. So if you're like, oh, what's Liza P about? Come see. You can see what it's all about.
I've been trying to pop in and see more of your stuff because there's so much fun. I want to go back to the hotel one.
It's so much fun, and there's so many different things that you can do besides just coming in chat. I'm also lurker friendly, so if you're one of those people like me, I don't a lot of times chat in chats. I like to lurk, so if you're one of those people like me, come lurk.
Yeah, no, definitely fun. Kevo, where are you at? Where are we gonna find you? All the things.
X is for show. We broadcast generally 3 times a week. We do a midweek comic broadcast. And we do a regular TV roundup on Sunday nights, and then usually something fun and different on Saturdays. Right now, we're in the middle of our holiday content, so we just did a tiered game of ranking a whole bunch of different Christmas songs, and then we did a whole bunch of different Christmas toys throughout the history of the Christmas toy craze, starting in the 70s. This Saturday, we are going to be doing one of my favorites, which is Marathon Makers. So for this holiday, because there's enough content, myself, my husband, and my husband's boyfriend TK are going to each take 24 hours, and we will make our own 24-hour holiday marathon to give you 72 hours of recommended holiday fun watching for this season. And then I think the week after that, we're covering the Scream franchise. So we do a lot of different things because it's coming up on the anniversary of that. We just watched all the movies and all the TV show. It was a lot. It was a lot. But you'll hear us talk about that in a few weeks on X's for Show.
Yay! And Jasmine, do you have anything you want to promote? Any fun projects you got going on other than joining us? and random trips to the America.
Yeah. I'm on many of them. No, I don't think I do. Not that I can probably speak about yet. That's proper Adam mysterious sort of feel to that. No, I mean I am on Twitter. If anyone wants to follow, I just tend to retweet everything Doctor Who, so it's not even that interesting. My shout out is for everyone else here that's got something. Go follow, go watch.
Yeah, there we go. Jess works for Unit. There we go. And to answer your question, our private chat, Melanie, yes, I do. But before I do that, why don't you tell us where we can find you? And then we've got all of it, and then all of that's done, and we didn't miss anything.
So mostly I'm hanging out on Instagram. You can find me here at Pieces of Melee. I also have an Etsy shop that's going crazy right now with my tea infusers, and most of them are all Doctor Who-y kind of thing. So again, Pieces of Melee. Right now, nothing really. It's all Christmassy kind of stuff at the moment. And my actual work, which is doing stained glass and all this kind of fun stuff. So once the holiday season's over, then I will be getting ready for MegaCon, which will be my next huge comic convention coming up. So that's February 1st through 4th. So if you're gonna go, I have a linked referral that you can go into here, and it can help me out with my booth space. So I'll put that on Instagram also. But yeah, that's it. And then here.
Yep. Always find all of us here. Hopefully I will see some of you guys here as well on Saturday, because again we are going to do at 1:30 Eastern, 11:30 Mountain for me, 6:30 for those over in the UK. We're going to do another live watch party of the Giggle. If you are already subscribed to our YouTube channel, you should be able to see it there. And set that reminder bell, because we had at least one person who's like, "Oh, I totally forgot about this." But I will. It is set for I think 15 minutes before the episode goes live. I will almost guarantee to be live before that, and just kind of shooting it with be that in the comments or in the chat. Kevo's been on with me the last little bit. Nick Smith from Cosmic Mass Magazine's come on. It's been so much fun. I'm loving that we're doing that. And I've got to do some other fun stuff after those shows as well. Because I got to open up a bunch of books on there. And those are slowly being cut together into bits of the TARDIS. One of them is up. We should share that out. I just put it live finally. But yeah, we were saying, I have boxes. And at least
I think you should open the boxes.
You think we should open the boxes? Okay.
I think you should open the boxes.
So I'm gonna jump because my husband's other boyfriend made us dinner. But I love you all, and I will check in on the unboxing because I want to know what's coming. So
here,
manja.
Gotta give me a hint. Got a hint?
Hint. Bubble wrap.
Pull the stuffing out. And there's a thing. It's a box. It's a TARDIS looking box. So I'm gonna put it behind there so you can't quite see what the name is.
I saw it.
So
I'm excited. Get excited, folks. We got an unboxing coming.
Yeah.
Box that Kevo will come back and have to look at later.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye,
Thanks.
Kevo.
See you on Saturday. Yeah. The Meep is freaking out at the stuffing.
If anybody else needs to jump, no hard feelings.
Yes.
Say your goodbyes now. I'm good to stay with Dave to see what's in.
I had to see the whole thing because he was teasing about it, so I got to see the whole thing.
I'm gonna have to bail. I'm afraid it's 1 o'clock in the morning here.
I want to say if you're,
we understand.
It was nice meeting you guys.
Thank
you for being on. Until next time. Now go to sleep.
Bye.
Yes, sleep is good. trying to open it without wrecking the box is always a challenge.
Ooh.
I noticed on the very bottom of that had the 60 logo.
So this
Oh,
is
yes, it did.
specifically the 60th anniversary version of Doctor Who Yahtzee.
Ooh.
It was funny. I was having a conversation with these guys in Reno at the Gamma trade show, the gaming tabletop gaming industry trade show, and I said, "Hey, has the TARDIS ever been another color?" And I brought up that yes, it was in fact pink for an episode.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of the marketing people were like, "No, guys, we got to do this. Like a limited edition, like 1 in every 10, like 1 in a case, should be pink." And now with this, the Barbie phenomenon, I think that would have been even better. They didn't. I'm sad, but we do still have a Doctor Who Yahtzee. So we'll take a look. So again, if you haven't played Yahtzee, this is pretty roll and match thing. We've got a specific a little score pad. We've got the rules.
I love Yahtzee.
That was my grandma's favorite game, and she used to have myself and her friends over at her house, and we would play Yahtzee together. And I was younger than 7 at that time, of course. After she died, I don't really recall us really playing Yahtzee that much. So I miss that game. It's very nostalgic for me.
Yeah. There is a key to this one because it plays basically the same as traditional Yahtzee, but the dice are different. So here, and the dice should have the numbers on it, but there is actually a key on what image is what. So we'll pull this out. And I realize that Yahtzee can be played solo, so I will almost guaranteed be playing this on my Twitch channel. Maybe I'll play that tonight.
Hey, there you go.
I might just play this. But yeah, so there's usually in Yahtzee a cup of some sort so that you can put stuff in and shake it. We have our TARDIS.
It's a TARDIS.
Oh.
That's a really good idea.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that.
Oh, they went with the TARDIS that has the white sign.
Yeah.
Oh, it's and the St. John's Len.
Yeah. That's cool.
St. John's. Maybe I can't remember the darn patch. The insignia. The very. It's a very 13. No.
Yes.
Not 13. I lied.
So I was going to say 13 didn't have that.
No.
Yeah, 11, 12.
And I suspect part of that is they had to, as we know, when dealing with BBC, you've got a whole bunch of stuff that needs to come out.
Oh, yeah.
Wanted this out in time for the 60th, and they probably weren't given the specs to be able to put this out.
That would make sense. Isn't that 12's? Because didn't 12 have the insignia on it, and then 13 didn't?
Yeah, 13 didn't. 13, the insignia came off as well, and then her sign became white letters on black.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is 12, and I think 11 first showed off that insignia.
And I'm trying to take this out carefully because it's all sealed together because it's the sort of thing that's going to be in like your Targets, your Walmarts, your high theft areas. So everything's got to be plastic.
Yes. Yeah, it's got to be plastic in.
And they'll still manage to somehow slice it open.
Exactly.
This is slice it open.
I wanted to keep this together because I'm going to put this back together to be able to put up behind me where all of these Christmas games are. But here's your dice. So there's your 1.
What is it?
I'm not entirely sure, actually.
Yeah, because I kind of started looking and I couldn't tell. All right.
Wait a minute. I thought at first oh no, it's not what I thought it
robot
was.
Claws.
The claws. The claws are what is throwing me off now.
Okay, Zygon.
That's a Zygon. Yep.
Anybody in the chat, if you can tell what that first one was. Third one's a Weeping Angel.
There's a Weeping Angel.
And there's your 4.
Oh, no.
Nope.
Sontaran.
Yes, Sontaran.
Oh.
He's got the helmet on. So
that helmet, I couldn't even tell.
Which is an interesting choice.
5. One is an Ice Warrior.
Oh,
it's the original Ice Warrior.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Got,
okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Totally valid.
Mike, Mark, Dan, And Doctor Who at 60.
Cyberman.
And then 5 is Cyberman.
Cyberman does whatever a Cyberman can. And what do you think the 6 is?
Oh.
Dalek.
It's going to be a Dalek.
What,
it has to be. Okay, so you're going to make everybody else guess? Okay, everybody else put...
Because why not?
Yeah, because I said, me and Melanie both say Dalek, so.
We're both saying Dalek because that's the only other major one. Mike's jumping in with Dalek. So we've got 3 for Dalek now, counting me and Mackenzie.
Yeah.
That's
anyone else want to jump in the comments? I assume that's supposed to be K9.
K9. Yep, K9.
There we go. Which would be a good option, but
Dalek.
Dalek.
You are a good Dalek.
It is, in fact, a Dalek.
It's a Dalek.
Dalek. It had to be. Like, really, what else would it be? But yes, for those
who have
Davros.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they could have done something more specific.
Yeah.
They go in the cup. This is going to be loud, so I will pull back from the microphone.
Yeah.
In this case, you have a lid.
Cups are always loud.
Oh,
Richard coming up with the Absorbaloff. I laugh.
And
that'd be fun.
I have a extra camera. There it is. So if I bring up my extra camera here, which is behold the disaster that is off camera. But
yay!
But I have, where's my remote? I can zoom in on this one because yay. So I pull that away.
What camera is that?
This is what I rolled.
At some point, send me the specs on what camera that is. I need a above camera E for work. Right, tasty cake. Says cleaner than my desk.
So I've got three Daleks
here. I won't even show what mine looks like right now. Yeah.
There's laundry right there.
Yeah. So that's
hammer.
The short version of how, and then you're trying to get different sets. You mark it all down. It's Yahtzee.
Is it still the same way, like a straight, a flush?
All the same thing that is normal for Yahtzee is the same in this. It's just a different set of dice, and the numbers are on there to correspond with the pips in a regular game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the short and fast version of the 60th anniversary version of Doctor Who Yahtzee. I again still said they didn't do a pink one though. That makes me extra sad.
It'd be neat if they could do either a pink one or even like the 12th Doctor when the guy had painted Clara, like all the flowers and stuff.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah. I thought somebody in the chat said that there was a pink one unless it was just a suggestion.
Oh, they're just saying that there was a pink TARDIS. 7th Doctor had the pink TARDIS.
For
an episode.
The happiness patrol one.
Yeah, because a lot of people were coming. Well, I say a lot. Again, these are generalities here, but when they were promoting Barbie and they made the pink TARDIS, you had some of the people out there yelling. Those people going, that's a pink TARDIS, rumble, grumble, grumble. And then other fans coming out going, technically there was a pink TARDIS, so there's a different finger going to go up. So anyway. There's something in that.
There is something in there. I had my camera spin around. I'm going to have to fix that. But so just spin it upside down so you can see the. Does anyone know what that is? I'm gonna leave it at that amount. And real fans of this, because this is not Doctor Who. I'm just gonna say this is not a Doctor Who one.
Yeah, I figured it wasn't Doctor Who.
This is a comic book reference.
Ah, okay.
A very old comic book reference.
Oh. Very old.
Very. I mean, it's still around. But yes, it was somewhere in the 35th, almost 40th anniversary.
This was a comment earlier. Doctor Who at 60 had said doing a pink TARDIS for Breast Cancer Month awareness for October, which I think that would be a brilliant idea.
Yeah, that would be a really good idea.
Yeah, no, it definitely would.
3 machines of Gara?
Yeah.
2 cybernetics human, a full flush.
More
yeah.
Stuff, yeah.
Full TARDIS, straight flux, Florida kind, called scarf.
Boo.
Mike's saying Batman.
Definitely
Everything
not
Batman.
I'm really.
That's
trying to
normally
think.
you would say Batman after
Well,
you've
I'll
done a
give a little bit
24-hour
more.
straight of doing just being on Twitch for 24 hours straight, and then you say Batman. That's
I'm trying. See, I have one comic book in my head, but I have never. It looks familiar, but I don't know the name of it.
The artist is Sergio Aragonés from Mad Max.
That's yeah, that is him.
Oh.
Okay, I don't know the character with the nose and the yes.
Not who
And
I was
the-
thinking, but
Gru.
interesting. Gru.
Okay,
Oh, I
I
cannot
somehow
explain
was thinking
but
somehow it was like Mighty Mouse or something because I'm like thinking old. I'm like, okay, are we thinking
voice-
we're talking like that? Or are we going before that even?
Sergio Aragonés is always in freaking San Diego Comic-Con, so that's what
Yes.
I was thinking, but I never understood. I never knew the property. Kevin always he did a lot of stuff for Mad Magazine.
Yeah, he does. He also does a lot of the Mad Magazine stuff.
Okay, because that's what Kevin, my husband, knows him from. So
There you
I never really followed.
So Gru the Wanderer has a few distinctions. It is one of the longest running creator-owned comic books. It's still going. It's gone through so many different companies. Gone through Dark Horse, Image, Marvel, but always, and until very recently, it had the same 4 people on their creative team.
Oh.
Aragonés does all of the writing and the art. The editor and sometimes translator and sometimes writer is Mark Evanier, who also wrote all of the Garfield and Friends cartoon, amongst other things.
Oh, okay.
The lettering is all done by Stan Sakai from Usagi Yojimbo.
That's why I know that name. Okay.
Yeah, I know when you said that, I was like, okay.
Tom Luth was the colorist for the last 35 or something years. He's finally left for other endeavors. He was also doing the colorized version of the Usagi similarly, but I don't know that he did or did not do this. There's also a really cool like in-world version of all 4 of them. Just saying. And one of the reasons I'm so sorry, what was that?
I'm just seeing Gru in the profile, not straight ahead.
Yeah, you kind of. So this is. I'm not going to solo it. I want to do.
Ooh, no, President Lemon. No, and we're still here, so you're good.
Yeah,
we're
still
doing
here.
unboxing and after
Yeah,
party and just chit chatting. So
exactly. So I'm going to bring that. Nope, we're going to bring that up. So this is the old.
Huge.
So this is not a specifically new game. This came out years and years ago. Came and went. And if this is not in slightly beaten up condition, it would be worth a small mint. But it is kind of beaten up, and that's fine. I've never actually played it, though. I picked this up on the theory that I was going to do a month. When I first started TheRatHole.ca, I did a theme every month. And I wanted to do a month of old comics that I loved that have games, that have old games. So I was going to do the Usagi Yojimbo role-playing game, Gru the game, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness, which just finished a reboot, not a reboot, but a reissuing Redux version on Kickstarter that blew things away. So I have not actually played this. I was holding off to do the review on it. But then at Gamma, we got this, and they actually did sell a few of these. They had a very small number of advanced copies available in Philadelphia this past weekend. So I'm super happy. The reviews are embargoed, so I can't actually do a proper review on this until January. But that's fine because I do all the Christmas reviews right now.
Yeah.
The rules are not is a big page, but not particularly a lot of them. You've got a beautiful little printed bag. There are dice, and in the original game they were stickered, but these are pre-printed.
I'm listening, but I'm fiddling with my chair. Sorry.
So you got different resources on there. You got villagers. You got money. You got food. You got Gru. Gru is obviously going to be bad, and there's also where Gru can move, where do things move. So Gru might move 2 villages to the left and starts doing damage to you. And then these all go into the bag. And there's also then the cards. And I got to
tilting my head sideways because I'm trying to see everything. I'm like, eh.
Sorry. And also, it's been so long since I've actually done it. I'm not sure why this is upside down. It should not be upside down, but for some reason it is. Something is funky. I have it set up to not. I don't know. Something is a bit weird on that, but whatever. We got it. It'll do it. But yeah, this has been lost in the mail for a few weeks. This should have arrived like in November. So I'm super stoked that it showed up today.
Wow.
You do have it's got a little bit of, even on the back of the box, it has your different phases, so it's got a bit of a cheat sheet there. And again, try to open this tuck box without tearing it. Tuck boxes are the worst. Or maybe I'm just, extra annoying and hurt. Don't want to tear it. It's stuck underneath the flaps. And I hate that when tuck boxes do. There we go. Worked it out. So yeah, we've got different actions. There's your phases. More plastic, because in a plasticed up box, that's what you need is more plastic.
Yes. Because that's what, try to recycle it when you can. When possible. Whenever possible.
The wrapping plastic, the shrink wrap plastic, is almost impossible in most places to recycle, and that makes me very sad. But there are a lot of companies that have stopped doing it. You're going to see a lot more companies that have started stickering their games closed. As opposed to shrink wrapping them closed, which is potentially annoying if you're a display type and you don't want it, mucking things up.
And that, because that's the bad thing, is plastic free is good for the environment, all that fun, and but for me, I don't like plastic free for certain toys and figures.
Yeah.
Because I'm terrible. So I'm one of those people who keeps one in box and one to take out. So I'll unbox one and keep and box another. And I'm I've always been a stickler when it comes to paint applications. And I can't see paint applications if it's plastic free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And I don't like those simply because, well, going back to my Blockbuster days, we used to have these blue stickers that we'd have to put on the boxes, and these stickers would not stick. You would have to take a hairdryer to get it warm enough so that the darn sticker would stick on it. And then if you had to peel it off, it was a nightmare. It would destroy the box.
Yeah.
I'm like you when it comes to stickers. No.
So yeah, the general gameplay, you've got Gru, who's going to move around from everybody. Each player has their own village, and he's going to wreak havoc wherever he goes. But you've got different things. So you can build an armory, and you need a person and a food. So if you got your dice pool, you've rolled out your dice, Yahtzee style, and you would assign those 2 dice to build that thing. And I believe that's your victory points.
Yeah.
We've got armory, so there's this
be pretty
auction
easy.
house.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is, you're trying to build a village, and eventually Gru will come by and muck it all up. And then you have event cards that will show up, and it's all the same background, so I think these just get shuffled in. Gru is dead. Play this card right now. Each player must discard all destructive Gru effect cards in their hand immediately or on their own town. So that.
That's a mean card.
I was wondering, how are you? I liked how you questioned it. I was like, wait, what? And then actually,
I was like, wait,
you were enunciating
what are
the
you supposed to
question
do?
Gru's
First card is a paradox.
Yeah. Each player must pass their hand to the right. So like Gru causes problems. That is the whole shtick of Gru. Here's a Gru effect card. If you to play it, you need to have had rolled you've got a couple of Grus that you would assign to play that. A town in need. Move Gru to any town and destroy a building of your choice. So there's Gru as a penalty.
Nah.
So I'm going to play that.
So does Gru? I'm not familiar with Gru, funny enough. Does Gru just try really hard and just fail?
Yes, more or less.
That's
No,
how it is.
I won't even go that far. Gru is oblivious. Gru is an idiot.
Oh,
in the most possible way, completely clueless about what he does.
Like,
God help you if Gru shows up on your ship. If Gru
are
ends
we
up
talking like Wild Coyote type of like, just like brainless that way?
if Wile E. Coyote just was wandering around doing nothing, and all of the stuff that happened when he tried to do things still happened. or Gru is Roadrunner. And Wile E. Coyote is not necessarily a person, but just the universe around Gru. So Roadrunner comes through, and Wile E. Coyote has, painted a hole in a wall. Roadrunner runs through it, and Wile E. Coyote goes smack. Gru comes to town, paints a hole in the wall, walks through it, and they go smack. No, they don't go that quite unrealistic, but that's the same idea. Gru just happens. Gru is bad luck personified. And Roferto, his good dog, is much smarter, but loves Gru so much. And Gru loves a good fray. So, and one of his good, here's one. Did I err? Gru destroys all buildings.
Did something break, Melanie?
Just took my backrest off my chair.
Oh no!
Oh no! It's heavy too. Sorry.
So this is a great version of what Gru does. Gru shows up, and suddenly the entire town has been destroyed by.
Good God! All right. So Gru's my spirit animal. Gru's my spirit animal right now because I just tried adjusting my chair and I just back off.
I'm going to blame Gru. It's because Gru came.
Blame Gru.
Yep.
What card did you play, Dave?
I don't know. I don't know, but do you
Don't
need help?
Kickstarter chairs, people.
You need
it's
help?
not smart. Yes, I do. I need a time machine to go back and tell myself, don't do this.
Come over and help you.
I need a time machine to go back and tell myself, do not back this Kickstarter.
And then you've got other characters. These are specific troops. So you do have like military troops that are kind of generic. You've also got some of the characters that have come through over the last umpteen years. So Abra and Decabra, a couple of witches. Yes, Gru is like Mr. Magoo, but
Gru happens.
Arcadio, he's your Fabio. Some random bowmen, so they're nothing. They're just random troops, right? Captain Ajax. So he's a pirate captain that always, and somehow Gru always ends up on his ship, and his ship always sinks as a result. Even if you sent Gru off even if you don't know Gru is there, it still happens.
Sounds like he would be a perfect person or cartoon to be in Fortnite.
Yeah, I can see that. Call. This is his Red Sonja. Gru is a barbarian. Gru is a barbarian. Just
definitely Fortnite. Yeah, that would be funny.
I finally completed Supernatural episode last week. Guess what they announced this week? Wait, they announced something Supernatural? Wait, I remember hearing that they were thinking about picking it back up again. Maybe. I don't know, because they didn't like how it ended.
I remember hearing about guy from Supernatural. He had like 6 heart attacks. I heard that. I don't know if that's the same thing that
let it ride.
Candyman's talking about.
Yeah, and he's okay, which is good. He died a few times. They brought him back.
Yeah,
but yeah, Gruella. This is Gru's sister. She is a queen in a country.
I like her little scepter. Is her little head?
Yeah, that's one of the neat things. Here's the minstrel. Here we go. So you mentioned the head. So look at this is the minstrel. He always talks in rhyme. And you can see the head of his lute right now is a dragon.
Yeah.
In the comic book, every single frame that he is in, the head changes.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Never referenced it.
So
it's just an artistic gag. So here's a dragon. Next time, in the next frame, it might be a boat. In the next frame, it might be his head. In the next scene.
Okay, you might have brought this up already, and I apologize because I was futzing with my chair a little bit. Why the pillow? Or is that a sack of flour? Or what is
Sack
that?
of flour. Sack of food, yeah. That's one of the resources on the dice is the foods.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, there's all sorts. Sage is another one of his friends. The most, and he has a similar sort of thing. He's not as ridiculous with the top of his, but he's got another dog that's kind of friends with Roberto, sort of. He goes around spouting off all of your sage advice.
Okay, so we've got Flower. What's the dude? Just like army backup. That
basically,
kind of
so you've got, these are all resources. So you got your food resource, you've got your people resource, you've got your money
manpower,
and you've got crew. So those are your
that's not a resource.
So if I come back through here, the GRU ones all require you to spend GRU dice. The buildings. So let's try. One's got a couple of different. There we go. The city
Season 16. Sheesh.
You would need 1 kopeck and 1 person.
Okay.
And then you would build that building in your village.
So how do you build building? I mean, they're not like physical buildings. Are they just a card?
It's just the card. Yeah.
It's like Monopoly type of
game.
Okay.
You will roll your dice. You'll spend your stuff. It's not a hard, like the game itself only runs about a half hour. It's a very fast game.
Okay. I'm not sitting there putting hundreds of hours building a metropolis like I'm right now. And well, I'm not building a metropolis, but I'm doing a lot of mining right now in Stardew Valley. So
you play Stardew Valley?
Oh, I love Stardew Valley.
Then you would like my type of stuff then, because I do a lot of the cozy games and starting to connect with a lot of the indie developers.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. I love the stuff. I really do love the stuff on Mackenzie. I do. I love all of your stuff. It's so much fun. I don't spend much time on Twitch.
That's okay.
Mackenzie is one of the channels that I hit the most often. I will
never
put her up on the
I've not had a
screen.
chance to, but I subscribed, I think. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, that's why I say I'm lurker friendly, because I have a lot of people who come in, they work and they can't, like, they can keep on background, but they can't watch. So I'm just like, turn on lurker, lurker friendly. That way, don't have to chat, just be there. Or if OBS decides to be an idiot, like I don't know why Fridays it seems to be an idiot lately, I might have to downgrade to 29 because 30 is just being a pain.
It's a thing that exists. It's true.
Yep. Stardew Valley.
I'll let us goof off on that because, but yeah, so this is Steve Jackson Games. These are the guys that make Munchkin.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We have the most recent version of Wiz War is theirs. They've also got a Kickstarter, which is Fantasy Trip. So it's got a bestiary and it's got a bunch of miniatures you can use in any games. Up on Kickstarter right now. So you can search for that. It's just the Fantasy Trip or the Fantasy Trip Bestiary, any number of things. But this should be available to the general public the beginning of January, mid-January. But if you go into your
$12 or 12 pounds, that's good. That's a good price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yes, that's my fun box opening. And we got it. I've been waiting for this so much, and I dropped the ball on getting in touch with them because it hadn't quite come out when I saw them at Gen Con. And then I somehow managed to lose their card. I don't know if I this is out. They do a lot of it used to be USAopoly, so they do a lot of the Monopoly properties. They've got the Disney Sorcerer's Arena game. Is these
Oh,
guys.
okay.
And so I had a copy. They gave me a base copy of that, which I passed along to the Cardboard Kid, who's a wonderful reviewer that's taking some time off. They are turning 14, I think, in a couple of weeks.
Oh,
they've been doing reviewers since they were 8.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely fun. I love I love the family. I love Anna. They're great. But I left that with them because I was going back on the road. I don't know if I left the card with them. I don't know. Somewhere the card went missing. So I managed to get through enough, connect the dots of people to finally get that. And they sent it, and I just barely got it. I went down to FedEx going, guys, it says it's here. It says you're going to deliver it today, but it's 1:00 in the afternoon. I don't believe you. And they were able to get it for me. So it was like, yay.
Oh, that's good.
Which is rare.
Yeah.
If I was in Calgary right now, that would not have happened. Red Deer is a small enough city that they were able to do that for me. But yeah, super excited about the Doctor Who Yahtzee. Super excited about the Gru. Super excited to have Saturday.
Yay.
So yeah, definitely if you're still watching, because there is still a bunch of people watching, and I thank you for that. Join us when the Giggle goes live at 1:30 Eastern. That is simultaneous with the drop on the live BBC. As well, they have announced the time for the Christmas special, which is a little bit earlier. But it is also going to be a simultaneous. They just announced it earlier today. I grabbed it so I wouldn't forget. Breaking news.
My calendar.
The Doctor Who Christmas special with Church on Ruby Road will air on BBC One and Disney Plus at 5:55 London time, Greenwich Mean Time.
Oh, okay. So that'd be 12:55 our time.
Yeah.
Well, that is Eastern Standard
earlier. It was because it has been airing at 6:30.
Yeah.
And this is at 5:55, so you're moving ahead 35 minutes. And so that'll put us to just before noon, and just before 10 a.m. on me. I don't know that I'll be able to do a live watch party on this. I would really like to. I'll find out. But yeah, that's hey, greetings from San Francisco. Love it. I was just down in San Jose, San Francisco area a few months ago. I did a little bit of a tiki bar tour down there.
The doctor's in it, right?
So everyone's throwing their times in where it's going to be. Maybe it'll be longer. I have honestly no idea I don't think they've given us a time frame. I'm sure Mark will pull it up when Radio Times gives us that information. I don't think the Christmas specials have been any longer. I mean, they've just been regular episode length. Traditional.
I don't know.
So I'm now again with the Disney Plus and not needing to pander to American commercials, maybe it will be a little bit longer. Maybe it won't be as tight of a, it'll be an hour and 1 minute the way the Giggle is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have the version of Disney Plus. It does have commercials, so I still get them. That's why I've never joined in for the live ones, because I'm like, I got commercials. I'm assuming everybody else doesn't, so I'd be behind everybody else.
Yeah, you'd be.
So
yeah,
what we've been doing, because no one's going to be able to hit play at the same time, and we do have people joining in from everywhere. I basically, I'm going to wait for a couple of seconds. It's here. They didn't even have a landing page in advance for Wild Blue Yonder, which is so annoying. But we brought it up, killed that off. I was the only one who stayed on camera. Everyone and Nick kind of went off to watch on their own, and just chimed in from the comments as they could. And then came back afterwards, and we talked about it. And I very intentionally put a little bit of a not a commercial break, but just a Twitch style. We'll be right back. Screen up for 5 minutes or so. Hey, put your thoughts in the comments. I'll be right back. We're gonna let everyone catch up. So that's a great. Yeah, I was big mad about that landing page. It really was, because there's no reason they should not have that. That's ridiculous. I haven't looked to see if the new one's up or not, but I'll look eventually. Hopefully you played some Limbo at the Tiki Bars. I did not, but I did play a game, a regular game, also Steve Jackson games, Zombie Dice with drinking rules. Zombie Dice is basically a push your luck game where you're trying to get as many brains, but if you get too many shotguns, you lose. Every time you do that, you get shot. It was great. Or a sip or a drink, or doesn't matter what you drink as long as you pee as much as you can. It was great. It was so much fun. I came home with spent way too much money on that road trip between Columbus and I think I managed to get to one in Prince Edward Island. I think I got to one in Indianapolis, and several in San Jose, San Francisco, and came out with a bunch of tiki mugs. Love them. And from Gen Con, Mackenzie, I don't know if you wandered past the OP's booth, the one that was all decked out in like Hawaiian.
I think I did walk by it.
Big giant booth that looked like a tiki bar because they have a surfing game.
Oh yeah.
I was able to get one of their shirts.
Ooh,
so a shirt it's blue with all your orange flowers, and then random interspersed the OP logos just kind of randomly in there, and I love it.
Oh,
if it was not
interesting.
Krampusnacht, it was Krampusnacht today, which is why I'm wearing this. I would probably be wearing it to do this. In fact, I may actually go and put it on, or at least grab it and put it in the background if I come back and play this for a bit.
Well,
but yeah, I think we are now at 2.5 hours. This is a
we're
good time.
2.5 hours. I have to tap out now.
Yeah.
If you are,
At some point, I have to figure out a way to put that in YouTube. You know how on YouTube you can put in, chapter it out?
Yeah.
At least so that way we could chapter out what the review is, so that people don't try clicking on here and go, 2.5 hour review of this show. The show was only an hour long. That way that people could see, nope, it was this is the first hour, and then afterwards it's just
I didn't know you could do that with YouTube.
It'll do it automatically, and you can do it manually as well. So it might have already done it. But yeah, I'm going to be live over on my Twitch in probably a half hour ish, give or take. And yeah, I think I'm going to play some Doctor Who Yahtzee because it just showed up, and why the heck not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I'll go join in your channel and probably lurk because I have this overlay that is a Christmas tree, and apparently this picture I can use Luma and I can change it so that the ornaments will change, and people on Twitch will be able to click on and say change to red, and then all the Christmas all ornaments will change colors. Ooh. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that, but apparently you can do it.
Yeah. and if depending on how my night goes, I may or may not try and, because I've now figured out how I can get my phone into my switcher. I might try and log into Worlds Apart or something. So maybe we can do that if I'm still alive and you're figured your stuff out. We'll talk.
Yeah, because it's like I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, okay, if I could do this, I would love it because I have redemptions like that where you can just mess with stuff like that. I'm like, I think everyone would love that.
I agree. I know they will. Anyways, everybody, Melanie, thank you for hosting and letting me kind of take everything over. I'll be over. I may also be over on my, because now I can do it on my YouTube as well, which is the same, TheRatHole DOTCA. I need about another 25 subscribers to hit my goal. My goal was 46 new subscribers between October and December 22nd, which is my birthday.
Ooh.
I wanted 46 subscribers for my 46th birthday. Except I think I'm turning 47. I don't even know. I've lost track. I actually have to check a calendar. I'm so old. Take a look at either one of those sites. Pop in.
To the 22nd.
Yeah, December 22nd is my birthday.
26.
Oh.
I know.
That is the last day that I give people pity. Once you hit the 27th, I no longer feel sorry for you because you are guaranteed a party, even if you have to share it with New Year's.
No, you're not. You absolutely aren't, because my sister's the 27th.
Ouch. It may be a New Year's party, but at least you can go party within a few days.
Nope,
but
it's Merry Christmas birthday. Share this.
I've got a redemption for birthday. So what will you try that week to try to just jump in and say, hey, all you got to say is hey, and I'll be like, hey, it's your birthday. Okay. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
All right, yes, thank you. We're gonna swing over here. We'll let Tony play us out as we do, and thank you all.
Watch them.